Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Thank you guys all for tuning in. I appreciate it. Hopefully you guys can see me and hear me relatively well. Welcome, everybody. We are going to be getting into the RWBY Volume 9, Chapter 3 live stream discussion today. And it's been a nice, chill, relaxing week. This was a really fun chapter overall, and we're gonna be jumping into it, talking about all the stuff. We have a bunch of clips and things to talk about, a bunch of theories, and it was just an overall really fun episode. But yeah, thank you guys all for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Good to see some familiar faces. Brianna Williams, how's it going? Welcome back. What's up, Grim? A Tin Cell, hello, welcome. Dark Neon Wolf, Starcraft Squall, Mad Stringer, Aeon Productions, the usual gang. Julia Spite, hello. Welcome, everybody. Alpha Crow, nice to see you. Brian W, welcome. Source D, Spectra, Anime Man 90 R7. Thank you. But yeah, this was a really fun and like super banger episode. I think it's the best episode of the volume thus far. And I'm happy I can say that with every episode we've gotten thus far. So animation was great too. All right, give me 1 second. Let me just make sure everything is good on my end before we go any further. All right, we should be good. Also, I need to see what poll we're doing this week, because I didn't finalize my thoughts on which one it would be. Let's see. Okay, so we did that one. Okay, I think I know which one we're gonna do. Yeah, we'll do this one. Alrighty. Let's see. Just reading a bit of chat before we jump into it. Excuse me. Your fine could stand to turn up a tad bit. My audio is like at the highest. I mean, my audio, I never changed my mic audio, so it should be the same. Maybe you need to up your volume on your end, perhaps. Just because there's no like external audio, you know what I mean? Video and audio are fine. Okay, cool. Oh, Gordon Lai or Lay. I'm sorry if I mispronounced the last name, but thank you for the $10 super chat. If the king doesn't lead, how can he expect his subordinates to follow? If you don't get that quote, watch the anime Code Geass and don't forget to buy clothes at the soup shop, LOL. Yeah, I've never seen Code Geass. A lot of people were commenting that on in my comment section and like on Twitter the other day, like over the last week, and I actually had to look up what the quote was because I never heard it before. So yeah, I found out that was from Code Geass, but I haven't seen Code Geass. That's one of Cal's favorite shows ever. Like the main character, I think Lelouch, that's like one of her like all-time favorite. She like simps for him like no one's business. But yeah, I've never seen it, so I don't get the reference. But I guess it makes sense, like in the context of the episode with like royalty and the king and the prince and all that. Hey, what's up, Chad Gigason? Can't stick around, just gotta catch my parents up with the episode today. Oh, cool. Yeah, you're gonna love it. It's really fun. It's a really fun episode. Really good music too. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for stopping by though. I appreciate it. Let's see. Finally able to make it to one of the streams after 3 years. Can't wait. Hello, how are you doing? Pink Gamer. Thanks for stopping by. I've been watching your reactions every week since the volume has come out, and it's just really great to see everyone enjoying the show again. What's up, Raijin? What's going on, my dude? Loved the fight and banger song this chapter. Yeah, I was actually expecting it to be that song that we heard, because I remember that they like teased the song during I think it was the RTX trailer from last year. It was one of the trailers, but we did get a snippet of the song, like the startup of the song last year, or before the volume came out. Oh, was it the second one? Okay, I guess it was the second one. Yeah, I get the two trailers mixed up. Yeah, the fighting was great. This was technically like the first real like action sequence of the volume, because I don't really count the like throwing the rock at the freaking throwing the rock at the Jabberwocker and like it attacking Blake as even like a fight. It was just kind of like a little skirmish, and then it ran off. So, but I guess that constitutes as like, oh, we got a fight in the first episode. But yeah, the sequences were really great. The animation was awesome. Also, I do want to say I fucking love this shot here. Like, this shot has been keeping me going. Ever since I've seen this, my life has never been the same. I absolutely, this is Weiss's final form, like, without a doubt. I absolutely loved it. I was like stunned when I saw it. I was like, oh my god. Actually iconic. Yep. God. Yeah, she looks like a goddess. She looks like an angel sent from like the heavens or something. Like an archangel or something. A snow angel. Yeah, it was overall great episode. I really enjoyed it. And again, before we jump into it, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's tuned in, who's been enjoying these live stream discussions week to week. They've been really great, and especially like the reception after they go live. We've had a couple thousand views per episode thus far of people watching and leaving comments after the fact. So if you're watching this after the fact, I really appreciate the fact that people are enjoying these even after they're live. And even for those of you who are consistently here week to week, I see a lot of familiar and returning names. So yeah, just overall really appreciate the support of these. Makes the talking about RWBY exciting, you know, just as it always has been. So and we have what, 7 more episodes to go. So I really hope the volumes just ramp up and get better and better. But with all of that said, we have a lot of clips to get through. I do feel... Oh, hold on. Give me 1 second. Let's close these real quick. And I have to move my camera up. Okay. I feel like we're going to blitz through this because really the action sequences is really great to just talk about specific shots. But for the most part, like, I feel like this episode was really fun and exciting because it was really kind of like a transitional kind of episode. Like, we got introduced, like another thing too, like we're kind of making our way through these other acres relatively quickly, and I hope they're doing that so that way it builds up to where we need the development, we need the exposition, we need the lore of this place and Alex and everything that's happened as a result of her actions initially. I hope we're just kind of making it through the acres in the first few like by the first half of the volume, and then I really hope the second half of the volume is like, okay, we've established the general acres of the volume, and now we're gonna get into like the heavy plot and figuring out like the significance of the Ever After and its origins and its past and its lore and the implications of it, and how Team RWBY gets back. I really hope that that's what they're going to shift to after this weekend's episode. Because I think we have one more acre, at least, that we've seen, which is the, like, the nighttime, like, fungi forest. And we've seen that in the trailer and in the opening. And then after that, it's just kind of like, you know, whatever. But yeah. So anyways, let us... Oh, I'm dumb. Hold on. I was not supposed to move my camera. I was supposed to move this. All right, give me 1 second, chat. This is my first time doing this, believe it or not. All right, let's move that down. There we go. Okay, let's move this over. And there we go. We should be good now. We're in business. Okay, cool. All right. Julius Fight, thank you for the $20 super chat. Thank you. Super chat alert. Hope you're doing good, Arnold. I love how the fight scene reminds me of the parallel from Volume 1, the Bumblebee team attack, and with Weiss using the glyphs for Yang, and Yang with the sword was badass. Yeah, I mentioned the exact same thing during my reaction. I was like, this reminds me of their team attack against the Nevermore with the slingshot, basically. And they basically did the same thing, but instead of shooting up, they shot down, which was super hype. It's almost like they have it down to a science. Like, they just know, hey, whenever we're together, it's Bumblebee combo and the slingshot. That's like their ace in the hole. So I would love for them to do that again. Like, if they ever go back to Beacon and they fight against, like, the giant Wyvern Grim. But yeah, so with all of that said, thank you guys again for tuning in. Really appreciate the support. Hope you guys enjoy the thoughts and theories and speculations and everything else in between with this chapter in particular. I just have to make sure that everything is good. How does my audio sound? Oh, that's what I forgot. I forgot water. Give me 1 second. I'm like parched over here. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. I keep like, for like the last couple minutes, I've been like clearing my throat and I'm like, why the hell? What's wrong with me? And then I'm like, oh, that's right. I have nothing to like help me out here. All right. We're good. Oh, that feels so much better. Jesus. Okay. Hey, Chair Coon's chilling over there, okay? He's excited for the episode as well. Alrighty then. So, episode opens up and we're on the Kingdom of the Red Prince, apparently, not King. We're going to get into that in a little while. But do you guys feel like there's any significance to this butterfly? Because there's like a lot of butterflies in the world, and I feel like it also ties into what the Curious Cat was saying, which is basically everyone's kind of going through a bit of a metamorphosis. They come into this world as caterpillars, and they're gonna leave this world as butterflies, essentially. And so I don't know if this blue butterfly is like the blue, like the one of the minions of like the blue caterpillar, or the blue butterfly that smoking the hookah in the intro. But yeah, I was just curious because like we see it a couple of times. We see it here. We see it again at the, as it's going through. And we obviously know that the butterfly caterpillar character in Alice in Wonderland was pretty significant to like Alice's development over the course of like, whether it's Disney's Alice or the Looking Glass Alice or whatever the case might be, also along with the Cheshire Cat. Also, yeah, it also reminded me of Life is Strange. Yep, the Life is Strange blue butterfly. I think I mentioned that in my reaction as well. But yeah. So, really liked this opening sequence here where they're kind of like, oh, Ruby, do you think this is a good idea? And she's like, look, I'm the team leader. We're doing what I say. It worked for Alex. And Weiss is like, we're not Alex. And it's like, yeah, the difference here is I think y'all have it. I don't want to say they have it easier, but I don't know if Alex came to this world with anybody else. Like if she had a companion or something like that. Again, I haven't read Roman Holiday. I don't know what the significance of the Girl Who Fell Through the World story was. I don't know if she came here with a friend or a companion or something of that sort. But I know that she met the Curious Cat, and I know that the cat also mentions at the end of this episode that they're not even the most interesting humans that he's met, which implies that he's met more than just Alex. So yeah, that's generally kind of interesting. I also wonder if the butterflies signify Alex and potentially a friend of hers, because there's a blue butterfly and there's a yellow butterfly in this episode. But another thing I thought of was the yellow butterfly at the end of the episode reminded me of the butterflies in Alice. I believe in the Disney's Alice, they had butterflies that were literally like a butterfly body, but like wings with bread with like butter on them. So like buttered bread wings, and like get it butter, and they're flying. I think that's what that signified. At least the yellow one, that's what it reminded me of. So I don't know. I'm just a little curious, and I guess that's the whole point of the episode. We're kind of like, where the hell is he going with this? And we just have to figure it out. Like the little drum along, like the marching soldiers, like the opening grounds, like this bottom shot here, just seeing all of the kind of like ruinous, broken, almost look like chess pieces in the kingdom's foreground and background and stuff like that. I just love the location. I love the red aesthetic. It reminds me, again, aspects of Forever Fall, which I really hope Forever Fall, whenever we go back to Vale, whenever we go back to Beacon, I hope Forever Fall is this flushed out or this detailed, and it's not just, hey, go into the forest and get, you know, hey, remember that red tree sap we had to grab that one time, and then Cardin almost got eaten by an Ursa and Jean had to cut its head off in one slice even though Pyrrha helped him, etc., etc. You know, I hope that there's more to it than just like a callback to just the scenery in general, if they even decide to go that far with it. But yeah, really liked the opening sequence here at the very least. Also, the greeting, like the meeting of the Red King. Oh, I keep saying Red King. I have to like unlearn that because they're debating us in this entire sequence, which I'm going to get into that as well. But I love this introduction here. It's very proper for like for royalty and things of that nature. Arnold is seeing red. Oh boy. Haha, very funny. Let's see. What do you think of Volume 9 so far? I think it's a very creative, different feel. Like, I'm pretty much kind of, I almost feel like we're watching a different series technically, just because the laws of this place and like all of the established understandings of the lore and everything are kind of removed for this plot. What I was actually thinking of while I was watching this is, will anyone ever tell these people that they live in a realm completely devoid of like Remnant or any of the other places? Like, these creatures almost feel alien, and I wonder, like, I feel like that would just like create existential like dread, like an existential crisis for these like fairy tale creatures essentially. But I was thinking that when I was grabbing clips of the episode, I was thinking, how would the Red Prince feel if like it knew that it lived here and not like quote unquote the real world, you know? I also thought that maybe there's like a bit of time manipulation and the Red King reverted back to the Red Prince. I also thought that too, because like Jinxie, I mean, it makes sense for Jinxie. When Alex was last here, they said that Jinxie was younger in the book, and now they're older. And then I'm wondering, like, oh, well, what if the reverse happened here and the Red King actually changed to be his younger self, and maybe he was pompous and arrogant and rude as a child, and then when he got older, he became, like, wise and kind and benevolent. And, because, like, we don't know anything about this kid's parents. They mentioned that the Red King used to exist, but we don't know the consequences of Alex's actions since the last time she was here, so we don't know what exactly happened to him. So yeah, I'm just curious about how that'll play out over time as well. Source, thank you for the super chat. I think Ruby is taking the role of Alex because she doesn't believe Ruby is capable of doing anything anymore. Well, she's taking the role. I mean, I don't think any one of them is taking, like, Team Ruby is collectively taking the role of Alex. Right? They all are kind of leading into her footsteps, but like, I just don't know how that's going to divide, I don't know how that's going to cause a divide between like them following Alex's roles versus like, for example, Ruby deciding to change her personality or change her identity or, you know, become a new version of herself if she feels like the burdens of whatever they're doing is taken too far. So we'll have to we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, this was great. Also, I love the amount of I really appreciate the amount of GIF material we're getting, like the reactions from the characters. I've seen a lot of people, like on Twitter at least, create like montages of like whenever Blake's ears twitch or whenever Weiss makes like a funny gesture or something, or like little, like there's so many like little, no pun intended, but there's so many little compilations of like different like gestures and things of that nature. Like just little funny quips and responses and reactions that everybody does, and I just really like it. I think it's very noticeable. Like this kind of reminds me of the GIF from the last episode of all of their reactions when Little is like, yeah, I don't know how to get back home, and I think I'm just gonna live out here in the wilderness and do my own thing. So, you know, I just want to kind of shout out these moments because I'm sure I'm not the only one who thinks that. But I would like to say this with my entire chest, with every fiber of my being. From volume 1 to volume 9, I think the Red Prince has one of the best designs in the entire show. I love the design. I love the drip. I love how the different hues of red just complement I love how he's like basically like a porcelain prince doll, kind of. The concept art they use at the end of the episode, like I can't take my eyes out, like his red diamond color, like his diamond shaped pupils. I like the fact that the way his crown just kind of like moves all over his head and he's constantly adjusting like that. Like I think I really do think he's like top 5, one of my favorites in terms of designs in the show, like out of like in the series thus far. It's just that good. And yeah, I love it. I love how his cheeks get like pink when he gets like really angry, really upset, like in that first shot when we see him. And I love like the sound, the ambience, like when he walks, you can hear like the clanking of like the porcelain, and like when he cracks and stuff like that, like, and when his hands are on his throne. I think they like the voice acting too. This is the first time that I've ever booked it immediately after the episode was done. I was like, all right, who voiced him? Because like I didn't know who it was, and after I found out who it was, I'd never heard of them before. I think it was Michael M something, like their last name, but they did a fantastic job. I ended up following them on Twitter once they announced that they ended up doing the performance of this, because it was fantastic. Another thing I didn't realize, the same person who voiced the king also voiced one of the toy guards. I believe one of the toy guards and one of the one of the game board pieces, like one of like the Fall Guys. Did anyone else think of Fall Guys in during the board game? I didn't think of it until my second rewatch, but this is basically like RWBY's version of Fall Guys. For anyone who's played that game, they literally look like Fall Guys. They could take those outfits and put them in Fall Guys, and it would literally be a RWBY collab. And there was that one shot too when he like throws the board and they all fall off the edge, and I'm like, now it's actually Fall Guys. Because they're all falling to their death. Oh man, I don't know if they planned that, because like Fall Guys came out during the pandemic, or like at the beginning of it, I think. So like it's just dangerously close, and I don't know if that's just a big coincidence or if that's like a reference at all. But I noticed it nonetheless, and I thought it was pretty awesome. Yo, what up, Fireheart? What's going on, my dude? Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. But yeah, so we get introduced to the Red Prince, not the Red King. This entire episode, I was like, where is this kid's parents? He is so rude, and I actually thought he would give off more of I mean, I guess he kind of does give off somewhat like Lord Farquaad vibe. Like I was thinking that in my head. Like when RWBY was like, oh, you are as wise as you are. I was like, please don't say short. I thought he would be offended by his height, but I think he is a kid after all, right? I don't think he's like an adult. So the fact that he thanked her for that compliment, I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. But yeah, I thought this was the Red Prince, but I'm sorry, I thought this was the Red King, as we all probably did from the intro. But yeah, so we don't know what happened to the king. Very interesting overall. Their interactions were like pretty I don't know, just like interesting, I would say. Like just all of them basically being in his presence and just realizing that he is the title of the episode. He is rude, he is royal, and he is red. So yeah, he's just like a brat. And it's kind of crazy to think that a benevolent king, maybe the king just spoils his son because he's so nice, right? He's like, he can't say no to his son because he's too nice of a king. And that kind of created the person we have in front of us, which I think is super entertaining as a character in general. But I also thought that it was funny that he basically like goes up to Weiss and he's like, "You are in the presence of royalty," and I'm like, "So are you." And it's just like royalty versus royalty at that moment. She's getting a little dose of her own medicine, and she even references herself, like how she was. She was like, "Was I ever this pompous and arrogant?" And it's like, yeah, kinda, just a smidge. And another thing too, like in terms of like character compilations, like I didn't notice until I grabbed the clip, but like when she's looking down on him, her eye like twitches, like she's like really annoyed by this kid. So yeah. But to just kind of bring it up again, like Weiss and Blake and Yang talk about like how, you know, the king wasn't this rude or this short or this loud. And then one of the guards says, "Well, if it wasn't for your kind, the king would still be here." So what's very interesting about this volume is that from the first episode to this episode, I think they did a really good job expressing the exposition without wholeheartedly saying it to us. But from the first episode, we thought that they were in the exact... Well, the first episode was kind of like, what the hell is this place? The second episode kind of gave us the impression that they were assuming the role of the book itself. But now this episode basically confirms that, like Weiss said, they're in the sequel of the book. They are going through the consequences of Alex's actions initially. And like, obviously it's the same fairy tale. It's the same setting. So things are the same, but also different. All the locations are the same, but for example, Jinxie is older. The Red King isn't here. The Prince is here instead. And like the Curious Cat, I'm wondering how consistent the Curious Cat is, because that seems to be the only constant at the moment. But it seems like nothing is as it originally was. They're supposed to find the Trusted Knight next. I don't think the book, or at least they didn't mention initially anything about the butterfly or the blacksmith, or maybe the blacksmith is the Rusted Knight because they kind of look almost bronzish, but I feel like the Rusted Knight could be a stand-in for Jean's character if there used to be a knight, but now the new knight is Jean. So I don't know. It's very similar but different, and I think that makes for really like a really exciting plot, because I remember when they were talking in episode 2 about the Ever After, I was like, "You're spoiling the story, like stop spoiling everything." I was joking, but basically I thought what they were saying, it's like, oh, we're just gonna do exactly what Alex did. But now after episode 3, it's like, we are, but we're not, but we are. So I just loved how the exposition has been delivered without them wholeheartedly saying to our face, "Yeah, you're not in the same world. You're going to have to figure it out as you go along." They ended up finding out about that over the 3 episodes. So in general, I really liked it. And more importantly than that, I would really want to know what Alex's original journey through this world was like, and what actions she made, like what she did, and how those consequences led to Team RWBY now being in their position of figuring out what she did or didn't do. She clearly gave humans a bad name based on how she quote-unquote lied and cheated her way through the book, though she was trying to survive. The Red King loves cheating and winning at any cost, so the fact that you have to cheat a cheater in order to win in a game that is not in your favor to begin with makes sense, but obviously you're going to make enemies with someone like that. So in general, I just really want to see, I really hope, I don't know if Alex is still in this world. I don't know if Alex is on Remnant. I don't know if Alex ever left this place and went back to where she was, because the plot of the story was that in Volume 8, Espen mentions that, you know, he talks about like, you know, this girl fled to a magical place and to escape the consequences of her actions. But because she never learned from them, she only continued spreading those consequences or something along those lines. I haven't like memorized it, but basically it implied that like she left Remnant, came here, and then like she didn't learn her lesson, or like the lessons she was learning, she wasn't learning them the proper way, I guess, and she kind of did more damage in the process. And now that damage is being felt by Team RWBY because they're in her shoes. So I don't know if we were supposed to assume that she ever made it back. Because, like, the story also mentions that when she went back home, she was forever changed essentially. I don't know if that means that when she came here, she was Alex, and then she left with a different identity, a different personality. Like, she took this, like, change your identity deal. Or if she was so hardened by this experience that it allowed her to grow as a person. So it's like one or the other. And I'm not entirely sure which one it is. Or if she left it all. Like, did she, like, I don't know. I have no clue. So we'll have to see how things play out. But it seems like the consequences of Alex's actions are falling onto Team RWBY's shoulders, and they might have to like find a quote unquote like true fairy tale ending to this whole thing. Yeah. So overall, really excited. I genuinely want to know, or really want to learn about like what happened to the king more than anything as of right now. And I just really hope that they give us some type of explanation of the actions that were the baseline. Like, I want to know about the baseline world. I want to know about how Alex changed those initial concepts. And obviously, we're going to see how Team RWBY deals with it over time. So I expect that they're going to get into that because the Red King existed at one point. We don't know. Did she take the Red King and leave Remnant with him? Chat, you know, it'd be fucking crazy. Imagine if the crown of the Red King was the relic. Like, what if the spirit of the crown of choice is the Red King? That would be kind of cool. Cause I remember like the one shot here, he was like, oh, you guys are infiltrators here to steal my crown. And then when I was watching it back in the Discord, I was like, ooh, that's interesting. Like, why would they want to steal his crown? And then I thought of the relic. And then I was like, well, the king would have the actual, like the real crown. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute. That would be even crazier because that would mean that Ozpin had the relic originally here, which is like a fairy tale world, which would be way harder to find than one of the vaults of the school. So yeah, I actually like that would actually be goated if the crown of the king is like, and maybe by, what if they took him and he like morphed into the crown? Like, what if he is the spirit of the crown, if that's why he's not here anymore? You know what I mean? Holy shit, I'm actually going Astro Brain right now. I'm actually writing volume like 10. Like, I'm writing like volume 15 of RWBY right now. Yo, let this man cook. Yeah, I don't know. We don't even know where the crown is. For all we know, it's in like a version of the Ever After, because the Ever After is linked to the vaults, but it's like two-factor authentication. It's like, first off, you get into the vault, but then you need the password for the password to get into the Ever After. So that could very well be it. You know what I mean? I don't know. Crew be in shambles right now. And he's shaking. He's like, yo, someone's about to get fired. Who leaked this? Oh, man. Yeah, anyways. Yo, if it happens, you heard it here first, okay? No one else said it before I did. Anyways, did anyone else think of this from Volume 3? How, like, RWBY did her, like, curtsy greeting, like, properly, whereas in Volume 3, she was an absolute mess in front of Winter. I was like, holy shit, RWBY's, like, leveling up. She's upgraded. I had to show this just because I was like, there were a lot of callbacks, a lot of things that I remembered from previous volumes. Again, the fight sequence was one of them with the slingshot attack. I thought that was super fucking hype, and obviously iconic volume 1 episode 8 moment. And then I'm like, holy shit, RWBY, like, even just look at her, dude. Look at volume 3 RWBY compared to volume 9. It's like, goddamn, actual character growth. She was such a small, innocent little bean back then. She didn't have to worry about watching her friends die and, you know, like, repressing all of her emotions and trauma. Times were great back then, dude. We didn't have to worry about anyone dying, and then volume 3 happened, and then from there it's never been the same. They've been baiting us, jebaiting us, and then they get us. So yeah. Traumatized teenager with a leadership complex. Yeah, I just really liked this moment. It's like, damn, RWBY could barely, like, the honor is in my court. And now she's like actually greeting royalty properly. So that's what we call character development, ladies and gentlemen. I just wanted to showcase that overall. But yeah, I loved how extra the king is. Like, I love his expressions. I love everything they did with this guy, and his sass and his attitude, and how cocky and bratty he is. He's just like a child, you know what I mean? It's like, what do you do with that? You just kind of grit your teeth and deal with it, and as long as you can get the things you want. Oh yeah, the prince, sorry guys, I'm like, no bullshit, I'm really gonna have to, like, they literally drilled this shit into my head in the first 2 episodes that it's a king, and now you're telling me it's a prince, and you're expecting me to actually just go along with that. I hate that shit. I hate that so much, because now it's like, it's so hard for my brain to rewire itself once it's ingrained something as knowledge. It's like, okay, I have to unlearn this, and it's really hard. But yeah, the prince. Also, if I ever say king, let's get a king counter going. Also, he is kind of a king, am I right? He's a prince, but he's an actual king. But, let's get a king counter going, because I guarantee you I'm going to fuck this up over the course of the episode. But anyways, but yeah, I just really liked how extra they made these scenes, how expressive he is as a character. I will never stop talking about his design, like, ever. I love it. I love the design so much. I love how, God, man, I could literally just keep saying that over and over and be content. He's just really great. I love it. And for the sake of not repeating myself for the umpteenth time, did I say king again? Okay, I'm sorry. I meant, just think of king and prince as an interchangeable term, because it's real. I don't think I'll be able to stop myself from doing that, which sucks. I think I'll keep calling him a king until I actually see the king. Anyways, let's carry on before I die of cringe. The sword moment. This was a moment. At this moment of my reaction, I was like, I fucking hate this kid. Where's this kid's parents? Send this kid to his room right now. I can't deal. Obviously, he didn't know the significance of it, but he didn't even give his subjects a chance to explain its sentimental value, and that it was the remains of a great warrior who died trying to protect other people. You don't even have to know Penny to respect that. You know what I mean? But he was like, get this shit out of my house. And I never wanted to punt kick a porcelain child in my life. I wanted to kick him further than he kicked that sword. I swear to God. I was so upset. I was like, bro, RWBY's gonna freaking eat you for breakfast. I'm surprised RWBY didn't flip out. But, God damn it. Why is it green? Why is your sky green? I don't see you, like, shaking your fist at the sky of how angry, like, oh, how dare you? How dare you be green? But then you see a green sword and you're just like, nope, can't do that. I draw the line at green, even though that's what I look at every day I walk outside. But, during the reaction, I was like, but it's a complementary color. It actually looks good with red. I think that's why they went with a green sky, because it complements the red aesthetic of the landscape. But No one was trying to hear that nonsense. I was so annoyed, dude. I was so upset. I was like, bro, you're lucky I'm not in this show. I'd fucking throw you in the furnace in an instant. I'd turn you into a freaking... I'd turn him into like a plate set. But yeah. I see, here's the thing too. In a way, this is kind of good. Quote unquote, kind of. Because RWBY does eventually... See, here's the thing. It's one of two things. From the trailer, we know that RWBY sees the sword, and there's a reflection of Penny in the sword, and she's like she's like in a different environment. Like, I think there's like a wooden floor or something. Now, that can be one of two things. That can be actually one of three things. Number one, she goes back, gets Penny's sword, and then brings it with her. Number two, it's a different green sword because Penny made multiple green swords. It wasn't just one. So it could be a different green sword that she finds, holds on to, and then reflects onto it. Or they reused the assets of when she first held Penny's sword up to the, like, when she was telling the story of the guard, like, to the guards. They repurposed that shot for the trailer alone. And that's like a trailer exclusive moment to emphasize Penny for the audience, but it's not like a scene that we will see used again in the show. So it's one of those three things. But yeah, it's just a little weird because they're already running towards the cat, and they're kind of like on their way to the next acre. So I don't really see how it would make sense to imply that, oh yeah, we snuck back on the king's property even though we're banished, and we grabbed the sword and now we're moving on our way. But we did that off stream. Or we did that off screen, I should say. But yeah, it's very possible that it could be another sword, and similar to Jinxie, it fell into a different acre. Because there's also that one shot that we saw in one of the trailers where RWBY like walks into a room and there's like a bunch of like, there's like a globe and books and a bunch of like gadgets and gizmos on like a desk or something. And I assume, like, if that seems like someone that like goes out, forages, also has their own equipment, I wouldn't be surprised if someone also found a different Penny sword, which will then just make things even harder for RWBY because it's a constant reminder of the death of her friend after she had just kind of gave up that in order to make progress in the story. So I feel like it'll be one of those two things. And it just fell in a different acre and somebody else found it. I would really want that too, because RWBY has no way of protecting or defending herself. It made a lot of sense why this episode felt kind of like a board game D&D battle match on the field with Weiss, Blake, and Yang, because they have their weapons and RWBY is kind of defenseless. She can barely freaking fight with her damn hands. So yeah, I think that there is significance to why she doesn't have her weapon. I think it's also very symbolic. I talked about it in the first episode, and even the second episode about like Crescent Rose being a part of RWBY, and even that's gone. But yeah, I also thought it would be pretty cool if they just let her hold on to Penny's sword, kind of like they did in Volume 3. After Penny died, she used it to defend Pyrrha against the Nevermore. I thought that'd be just a cool thing to have as like a symbol, like symbolizing, you know, Penny is still protecting RWBY even though she's gone, kind of thing. And at least RWBY can fight with a weapon rather than just be defenseless and just headbutt her way through every fight in the show. But yeah, overall, makes a lot of sense. It makes sense why we would be offended, but we have to also understand that this is like a 10-year-old prince who's arrogant, rude, royal, condescending, kind of a brat, and doesn't, you know, I mean, he's like, oh, that's not what I wanted. You know, it reminds me, anyways, let's just move on. I was going to say, it just reminds me of like any spoiled brat that gets a gift and it's not good enough. And it's like, but I wanted two, but I wanted more than just that, you know? But yeah, overall, I love the interactions in general. And she also baits him into like doing this whole game in the first place because she's clearly read the book of, or she knows the story of Alex, I should say. And Yo, William Pendragon, what's going on, my guy? Thank you for the $100 super chat. The God of Light has tried to silence my words, but this soldier shall not be denied. I shall observe the story untold and unheard. May Team RWBY avenge the fallen soldiers of Atlas. May my brothers rest peacefully. This has been the ghost of Private William Pendragon. Oh my god. Yo, the the freaking what's it called? The role playing never ceases. Pendragon, rise up. You've been oppressed for too long. Thank you so much for the super chat. That's incredibly generous. Week to week at that. So thank you. And thank you for bringing entertainment to the squad in the chat. Really appreciate it. Damn, and he was a private. Unlucky, bro. Let's see. This man is dedicated to the role. That's what I'm saying. I was not expecting them to show up 2 years later after the hiatus in the first episode, but there they are. You know? Living the dream. But yeah, so again, big shout out to the Prince. Big shout out to the Prince's design. I fucking love it so much, dude. I love the colors. I love how everything just works. I love the little studded, like, jewels on the crown. Like, they go from red to, like, gray. I assume they're supposed to be, like, black to represent the, like, card suits. I just love everything. I love everything about his design. Cape on and cape off. He's God, I love it so much. The voice acting is superb. Whoever did the voice acting was incredible. They're incredibly talented, especially since they voiced other characters in this episode. But yeah, also, I don't know if any of you guys, actually, you guys will see it in the reaction, but I realized that when the butterfly was shown at the beginning of the episode, the second I saw the castle and I saw the tower of the castle, I was like, oh, they're going to show us that shot of the butterfly going down the tower, because this was shown in the first trailer that they showed at RTX. And this is what they showed during RTX. They showed like a short clip of this moment here. And when I saw the castle tower, I was like, oh shit, this is where the shot was from. Before I even saw this part here. But yeah, this is a gorgeous, beautiful, beautiful shot here. Like from the bells to the guards, the butterfly spiraling down. I love the symmetry of everything. And like the music that's playing here too. This shot made me dizzy. Oh, well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I'm forcing you to see it again. The live stream thumbnail is still chapter 2. Oh, is it? Hold on. It shouldn't be. Nani? Hold on. Give me 1 second, chat. Let me double check this. Oh, it shouldn't be. Oh, that's weird. Yeah, it shouldn't be because I updated it already. Anyways, that's a little awkward. I guess it depends on if you've refreshed the page or not. I guess it is for some people and not for others. But yeah, this shot was great, and I love this room. Like, it's also very weird that he has a random floor in his castle with a bottomless pit and spiral stairs that lead to a very specific board game room. This is his D&D room. I've never played D&D. I know that it kind of like... It's very much like a role-playing, like very literal role-playing game. And so it kind of almost seemed like this is like his D&D room and he's like the game master or the GM and or DM. Is it game master or dungeon master? I have no clue. Like I said, I've never played D&D. But yeah, I just loved the location. I love the lighting of this room and everything else. It was just very interesting internal aesthetic as well as the outside. Also, it makes it really weird too, because it's like, what part of the castle in general is just super wonky and crazy and all over the place. It looks nothing on the inside as it does on the outside. You got like the E.C. Escher freaking staircases and shit like that. You're like walking on the walls, walking upside down, like bending and twisting upside down and like down like corridors and staircases and stuff like that. So I loved it. I loved how it very much captured the, what's the word I'm looking for? It very much captured the wacky and zany aspects of like the world of Alice. So yeah, I thought it was really, really cool, especially towards the end of the episode, how they kind of expressed the inside of the castle as much as the outside. So so from there, we get into the setup and everything. I mentioned this earlier too, but I loved how also it was Little that came up with that joke. Can we have a moment of Little appreciation in the chat? Can you guys just tell me what you like about Little, or one of your favorite moments of Little? I did not realize, like, I knew when we saw Little, I'm like, oh, this character is going to be huge. This character, by virtue of it being a tiny, cute little mouse, it's going to win the hearts of the community. But I was like, is that just the gimmick? Is it just because it's a mouse? But then, like, from the first three, like, especially this episode, I'm just like, bro, they did everything. They've done everything right with this character so far. And it would be criminal if they did not make Little merch. Like Little, not Little merch, but Little the character merch. But yeah, or little merch, you know, we can have it both ways. But here's the thing. Here's the thing, chat. This is gonna be so apropos. You know how I'm talking about, like, how, you know, like how whenever I mention the prince, I'm like mixing it up with the king because that's what they established him as. And I've been saying that for God knows how long, for how many weeks now. And I'm like, you guys are like, oh yeah, get a king counter. He's just going to keep saying king. I can't wait for us to go 9 episodes calling this mouse Little. And then it gets a name in the finale and everyone still calls him Little. Like, everyone just still calls the mouse Little. I'm gonna be like, actually, their name is officially this, unless it still decides, like, my name's Little now, even though it's not my purpose. But yeah, I'm gonna be the guy that's gonna be, actuallying everybody when that happens. And then you guys will know how it feels. The mouse's name is gonna be... It's gonna they're just gonna give themselves a last name. It's gonna be Little Hope, just a Little Hope. And I think that's a location in Fallout New Vegas, actually, right? I swear to God, I'm pretty sure Little Hope is a location in one of the Fallout games, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah. Oh, it's a video game. Oh, okay. Yeah, I just feel like Little represents the little bit of hope that RWBY has left. And hope is something that you can, like, if the name has to correlate to a purpose, Little's purpose is giving RWBY hope, which would be the perfect name for hope. Like, the perfect name for the mouse. Hey! Oh, it's a video. Yeah, what? Oh, what's up, Aaron? That was actually you. I read your comment and didn't even see who said it. How's it going? How's it going? Yeah, we're getting into the episode. This episode. Oh, so what shot did you do, Aaron? Which part of the episode was your doing? I need to pop off when we get to that moment. I saw your name in the credits, so. Ooh, 2 chunks. Yo! God, that's so freaking cool. That's wild, man. Like, you actually touched the volume. That's so sick. Little can stand for a little bit of patience I have for the next episode. Oh, okay. All right. Nice one there. I had the we'll kick their wooden butts bit, and then I had the but it's my birth. Oh my God, I loved that moment with the cat. He was like, but it's my birthday and they wouldn't let me win. Yeah, I loved that. I love the prince so much. I know he's like a brat and spoiled rotten and pretty rude and arrogant and a little cheat, but doesn't he deserve that at the end of the day? You know what I mean? I love the prince. But yeah. So cycling back a little bit, because I did get off on a little bit of a tangent there with Little. Yeah, so we're here. We want to find out how to get to the tree. The prince, I almost said king. Prince wants to play his little game. And, the reason I remember now. The reason I went on my tangent was because Little was the one that came up with the joke of, you are as wise as you are short or small. And I actually thought the Red Prince would get offended by that, but they're like a child basically. So it kind of makes sense. It's not like they're an adult, but they're short and they're insecure about their height, and if anyone brings it up, they get pissed off. I thought that was like the trope that they were gonna go for with the prince, but they kind of leaned into it, which I thought was great too. So yeah. Yeah, I love the crown. I love how he's always like moving the crown, and I love how it like shifts on his head constantly. It's like, bro, did your dad leave you that? Because it clearly doesn't fit you, my guy. But yeah, I love him so much. Also, this part was great too. Like, basically everyone in the room just called Ruby a filthy casual. Also, shout out to whoever came up with the idea to have one of these guards laugh so hard that they start coughing out like wood splinters. Like, he's not coughing out like his freaking saliva. He's like, they're all made of wood, so he's just choking up on wood. I thought that was hilarious. They're like, oh, you filthy casual, you don't know how to play the game? Who are you? Where are you from? But yeah, I thought that was very, very clever. And very appropriate. Like, I don't know if it was that funny, but these guys are over here like keeling over on themselves, so it clearly got a rise out of them. He looks like he's dying. Yeah. When I first watched it too, I didn't see. Here's another thing too. I really wish Crunchyroll would fix their closed captions, because I couldn't this is irrelevant, but like usually when certain scenes play out, they'll have like parentheses of like character coughs up whatever, so like just to kind of emphasize that things are still like sound is still going and things are still happening. I don't know what the fuck the freaking Jabberwocker said at the, like, it said like fix, and like it said something between like telling Neo to stop, and I'm like, bro, I wish I had closed captions here because it's so hard to pick up what it's saying on top of the rain and thunder and lightning in the background and everything else. So yeah, I know it said fix, and it said something else. It said stalk, find, and it just said something that I couldn't pick up what it was. Yeah, it says what it's thinking, but I was just curious. And it's like, I wouldn't be curious if they had closed captions. That's all I'm saying. And so we get into the board game. The rules are kind of interesting. It's like chess. I guess it's basically like chess, but instead you move forward, and it comes down to your individual pawns' strength. So it's kind of like all of the pieces are the same. It's not, so it's like they're just pawns. They're all just pawns, and one pawn has to destroy another pawn, but it comes down to individual strength. And if you notice, it's very interesting how these guys already have like battle damage, which implies that, at least my headcanon is that they look like that from when Alex last played. And like, she had to lie and cheat because the king was cheating. And he was cheating here because the board, like, all the pieces answered to him, you know, when the game officially starts. Oh, really quick, Aaron, I don't know if you can confirm this or not, but please tell me that they designed these characters due to Fall Guys. Because I know the volume was being worked on after Volume 8, and that was like 2 years ago, like at the start of the pandemic. Oh, not Fall Guys, but Nier Automata. Ah. Oh, yeah. Aren't those like those robots? Holy shit, that's incredible. That's actually wild. Holy moly. Yeah, because they only look like Fall Guys. Like, the white ones look like Fall Guys more than the red ones. Yo, that's based. They used to be more humanoid than that, but then they changed it. Oh, that's sick. The pawn shapes are inspired by the machines of Nier Automata. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I literally thought Fall Guys. I was like, how is it? There's no way this is not Fall Guys, because when they get thrown off the board, they all fall off the edge. And I'm like, bro, that's literally Fall Guys, and I will be taking no criticism. Wow, that's neat. That is, I haven't played Nier Automata, so that wouldn't have crossed my mind at all. But I've seen some of the characters, and I've seen those robots, so that I can see how the body type would resemble those little robots or those androids from the game, like the enemies. Okay, I got one for you in the chat. So you're saying it's nearly based off of Nier? Thank you. Appreciate that. Let's try carrying on, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, it was a nice pun. I usually have this response to nice puns. Just because it's a nice pun doesn't mean I need to let you know it's nice, because then all that does is it encourages the behavior. So I need to give it no attention, pay it no mind, and move on with my life. Who compliments a pun after all? I think that's an appropriate response to a good pun, to just be like, ugh, just roll your eyes like, oh my god. I don't know anyone that compliments a pun. That's just me though. Yeah, so the 3 game rules. Rule 1, each turn, you can move 1 pawn, 1 space each turn. So you can move all of your pieces at a time per turn. Rule 2, the person with the most pawns at the end of the board wins. And then rule 3, in order to occupy a space, you have to dispose of whoever's at it, which that basically comes down to like a skill issue. Like you have to basically level these guys up. Yeah, they're more like guidelines. Yeah. At the end of the day, they're just like, just have at it. Just do whatever the hell you think you can do to win. I almost forgot that they turned little in the trailer. Like in one of the trailers, like Team RWBY or Weiss, Blake, and Yang were like in Ruby's scarf, which that's a very Alice thing. Like when she drinks like the little potion and it turns her small and then it turns her big. So that's really appropriate. I didn't notice this during my first watch. I was wondering what happened to Yang there, but she, like, the magic made her punch herself because she was trying to resist it, and then it just punched her. She's like, stop hitting yourself moment. She just punched herself. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but when they land, Weiss lands on her butt, Yang lands on her back, and Blake lands literally like a cat on her leg, like on her feet. She like lands on her feet right there. Like actual cat moment. Which was pretty appropriate. I really liked that. Yeah, Yang should have been dead right there. She like, and then she puts a thumbs up letting everyone know she's good. Yeah, she's just getting thrashed about this episode. Actual Faunus moment, yeah. But yeah, I thought that was, I don't know. I just really liked that. And yeah, this power is kind of crazy too. He just, at the snap of a finger, like, all right, let's do this. God, I love the king. I mean, the prince. God damn it. Anyways, let's move on. I really like that. I literally put this middle shot right here just to talk about how much I love him. I love his design. Whoever designed him, whoever came up with the design, I wish you nothing but the best in life. I wish you eternal happiness and I hope you get everything you want in life. It's so good. Jumping ahead a bit, what are your thoughts about a Akachi-kun? I love them. They're so suave. I love their mannerisms. I love the cat in general. I feel like they're just gonna make like liven things up amongst the party. But yeah, it was very interesting hearing like a very suave Akechi in RWBY. Like just that as a concept alone was super cool. I also saw your tweet where you basically had to stop playing Persona 5 Royal because you didn't want to accidentally leak him as a VA and break your NDA. And I was like, holy shit, that's like some next level dedication. It's like, I can't play this game. I'll literally just, I'll break my NDA. I'll get fired. It was going on at the same time. Damn. That makes a lot of sense though. I mean, a part of me is so fearful whenever like I know any, well, not necessarily, like I know when to like, obviously I'm not saying like I'm an open book or anything, but I would literally just have to like hold myself up in a room and like have no communication with anyone if I was in a position where just having a casual conversation would lead something to naturally slip just because I know it, you know? I would have to actively restrain myself at times. Yeah, I couldn't imagine that. That's such torture, man. I love that I just don't know anything about anything. And I just live my life in blissful ignorance. Am I right? But I loved this shot too. He's like, as I am a graceful ruler, the white team can go first. And this transitional shot was so good. Like when all the guards just like, all right, it's time to game. This is a very Who Wants to Be a Millionaire moment. Anybody? But I loved this too. Just like how the camera pans and you can see RWBY like getting into like sitting at her seat. And I love how the king, I keep saying king, I'm sorry. I love how the prince is just rocking his feet back and forth on the chair. It's so good, man. This whole episode was great. This is what I was talking about when I was mentioning like the D&D vibes. Like this kind of looks like a game master's like board, and like this is where like the campaigns happen and stuff like that. But yeah, God, I loved it so much. Everything about it was so cool. And again, also, what's really cool about this, too, I don't really know if this was the intention, but this was kind of like my thought process of it. This really puts RWBY in, I mean, if it wasn't for the king, if it wasn't for the prince cheating, obviously things would have played out differently. But it would have been really cool if this was a legitimate game, because it not only puts RWBY in a leadership position, but it also directly shows her the results of her actions as a leader. And how, like, the soldiers she commands, basically, I just feel like it would have given her a little bit more of, like, an understanding and perspective on Ironwood, basically. Which is, like, Ironwood's at the head of the kingdom, and he makes tough choices that affect the people beneath him, like his soldiers and the civilians and stuff like that. But it's not exactly easy. What would have been, in my opinion, I feel like what would have been far more impactful for this is if all of the board game pieces were actual lives. Because it kind of seems inconsequential. The only characters that are of direct effect of this game is Weiss, Blake, and Yang, and their team RWBY. They got semblances. They have combat experience. They're going up against drones at the end of the day. So I really would have liked it if, like, these weren't just like drones, but actual people that were brought in from the kingdom who also attended the birthday. And the king is like, you're all going to be a part of my game. And then he puts you all in the game, and RWBY decides quite literally who fights and who doesn't. And, you know, that would have resulted in actual people dying and ruining RWBY's psyche even more. But yeah, I don't know. I thought that would have been, because like at the end of the day, the only people I think that can fight here is like Team RWBY. But yeah, I think that would have been great because, again, that would have really been a far greater threat factor. Because I didn't really ever think that Team RWBY was in any, like, general trouble. I just thought, like, oh, well, how are they going to get big again? And, you know, to that extent, like, what's the king going to do if he doesn't win his game? Like, those were the major threats, at least for me. The pawns did die, but, like, with them being pawns, they almost feel like toys. Like, I don't even know what the heck these things are. They're just, like, creatures of the world, but I guess they died, but I also don't really have... Like, they're like gray blobs. They almost don't feel like people. Despite their conversations, they're like, oh, these guys look stupid. They look funny. What's going on with them? And they're all made of wood and whatnot. I don't know. There's like a detachment here. It would have been a lot better. Not better, but it would have grabbed me a bit more if the people that were, like, excited for the king's party went to him and then he's like, oh, you're all going to play a game. Yeah, literally, like, NPC energy these guys have, unfortunately. But yeah. Not saying it's bad. I'm just saying, like, it would have been an interesting way of showing the struggles of grand leadership. Like, it's one thing to be the leader of a team, but it's a different thing to be a leader of a country or a kingdom, and how all of your actions fall on other people and how other people are affected by your calls and actions, you know? It's not like they can change the past. It's not like they can be like, oh, man, I kind of actually feel bad about everything that happened at Atlas and with Ironwood because now I played this board game and and now I understand. But, like, RWBY's also... I don't really feel like there's ever been a situation like that where RWBY feels that, like, her actions have weight. And I guess now they do because, like, Salem, but everyone knows about Salem now. You called him a king again? I called him a king 16 times so far, apparently, according to the counter in the chat. So it's only going to get worse from here. If I say king at all, I mean prince. It's just the fact that we were establishing him as the king, and now my brain can't, like, change that for some strange reason. But yeah, overall, really liked this shot. Source, thank you for the super chat. The cat implied that things can come back after being broken in this world. Any thoughts? Did he? I think what he just meant was like, hey, these humans need their heads to live, otherwise you'll kill them and they'll never come back. Wait, what? Hold on, I might be misremembering. What scene in particular are you talking about? That is right, actually. Without their heads, they might not be able to come back. Yeah, if you break them, they may not ever come back. Ah, I see. So wait, so is this like a video game too? Like they just respawn at the end of the game? Like at the end of the day, the world resets and everybody just goes back to the way they were before? Maybe that's a property of the world. Like they're native to the Ever After. So that's with them, but because humans are not of the Ever After, then like if they die in the game, they die in real life. Interesting. That is interesting. Yeah, I didn't look too deeply into that because I thought he was just implying like, oh, if the humans die, if you cut off their heads, then they actually die. And it's like, yeah, of course so. But like, I didn't apply that to the creatures of the Ever After itself. So yeah, that's very interesting. So all those soldiers didn't actually die. God damn it. Well, technically that means no, but I guess technically there was never any kind of threat outside of Team RWBY then, because they're the only ones that can die, which is probably why the king was fine with throwing all these pawns off and like having them quote unquote die during the game. And I love how they just rolled on the freaking the stretcher and were shipped off, which I thought that was really funny. Yeah, yeah, I guess they're still in pain. Like that, there was one that got cut in half by Weiss. Weiss was an actual savage here. Interesting. Wait a minute. Does that then mean that the two guys that got their heads cut off earlier outside, does that mean they're gonna respawn soon? they were upset. What were they upset about? What were they worried about? Maybe they don't know. Or maybe they get shipped off to the freaking blacksmith and she fixes up a new one. You know what I mean? Maybe they're not the same ones. Maybe they just get reincarnated as like a different thing. That would be interesting, because then they still die technically. Like they die, like their identity dies, but they come back as like a different thing, a different being. That is interesting. Nothing that a little hot glue can't fix. That's funny. But yeah, so very interesting. Again, I can't get Fall Guys out of my head, but it's kind of wild that this is also Nier. This is Nier inspired, which is pretty interesting. Yeah, I feel bad for the first move. Also, RWBY had to go first, which is pretty advantageous to go second. In chess at least. So by going first, it's like, oh man, I gotta go first, which means I'm gonna get my ass handed. I felt bad. I felt so bad for this first guy right here. And so the game plays on. Also, quick little appreciation. A little appreciation for Little, that is. Yeah, Little was literally the mascot, the cheerleader of everybody. Constantly, always, and forever. I love how immediate they're supporting Team RWBY after knowing them for such a short time. But yeah, these were like very small moments too. I don't think I noticed Little doing the little like waving the leaves, like go Team RWBY, they're our team. If they can do it, I don't know how to make this rhyme, but yeah, go Weiss. You know? But yeah, I really hope this mouse doesn't die at the end of the volume. I really hope not. If that doesn't happen, chat, would you guys want Little to go back to Remnant with RWBY? I actually don't think it would happen, but I don't think I'd be opposed to it either. Actually, I don't know, because if Little goes to Remnant, Little has an actual greater chance of dying. Like, Remnant's actually, like, savage AF. I feel like Little would be much better off here and only dealing with, like, a Jabberwocker. Probably just living life, never leaving its acre, actually, technically speaking. Like, I think all the mice just, like, live in that acre and they don't stray too far from home. Like, because Little didn't even know about the life outside of the forest. So, yeah, like, Little would get to Remnant and get, like crushed by something immediately. And then there goes all of RWBY's development, because there you go. Now another friend of yours is dead, and now you're depressed again. And then you just regress all of that development. So, yeah, I don't know. But I also feel like, as of right now, if any of these characters are around anyone, they're not safe. I'm sorry, all right? I don't know what to tell you. Team RWBY went to Beacon, Pyrrha died. Team RWBY went to fucking Penny and Pyrrha died. They went to Atlas, Penny died. They go to the Ever After. It's like, come on now. All right, can we not have death and mayhem follow you everywhere you go? I know you're the main characters, but come on. Oh my god, someone with the galaxy brain idea. Plot twist. Little defeats Salem in the end. Oh man. But yeah, a part of me would love that. A part of me would love to have Little, like, extend beyond this, because, like, if Team RWBY leaves, I assume there's no way for them to ever come back. Like, unless they did the exact same trick again with Ambrosius. But I just don't think it would be relevant for the plot for them to be like, oh yeah, let's go back to the Ever After and say hi to Little and the gang. Yeah, they'd have to hit up Ambrosius again. The only other thing I can think of... Actually, you know what? You know what they should do when the show is, like, officially done? Like, once Salem is defeated and Remnant is saved, what they should do is they should take all 4 relics, create a pathway back to the ever after, and then free all of the spirits to just live in the ever after, and then just go back home. So that way there's no way into the ever after because you can't create a portal with Ambrosius again. And they're stuck there, so no one can ever get in there to get the relics ever again. Like, they'll never be a threat. Which would then mean that, like, you wouldn't need the maidens. You wouldn't need to, like, lock the doors. You wouldn't have to, like, lock them in vaults again and all that other stuff. But yeah. I wonder, too, because, like, in the intro, they have, like, those two blue streaks, like, those two blue, like, clouded, like, beams that are going down. I don't know if that's representing Ambrosius and Jin because they had the same, like, blue hue, or if that implies something else. I initially thought it implied that, like, this is where the relics came from, or the spirits of the relics came from, or their connection to this place, or Alex and a companion of hers if they came here or whatever. So also, yeah, like, they only did half of it because that's Disney copyright right there. That's Disney's bloodthirsty lawyers waiting for something to happen. Or it can mention the other two relics. But here's the thing. We still don't know if all 4 relics have the same aesthetic, or if 2 of them have the aesthetic of the God of Light and 2 of them have the aesthetic of the God of Darkness, even though it seems to be more implied that the aesthetic is based on the God of Light, because he's the one that offered the deal to Ozma. But, like, it's so weird. Like, I actually would really like if the other 2 were, like, dark purple, like purple and, like, black to complement the other god, you know? But yeah, Jin did say that she was a being created by the God of Light, but I guess that implies that he made all of them. I wonder how his brother would feel about that, by the way. He just, like, yeeted. He just freaking, like, dipped off Remnant, and his brother's like, hey, here's all of my extra creations. I know I created Silver Eyes, and my brother created Grim, but I'm also going to do this, too, because I have a little bit of faith in you guys. But, yeah. So we get into the action sequences here, and this is where it clearly shows a skill diff, like actual skill issue for the prince. And I love how so in typical anime fashion, like, all of the characters are kind of expressing their neutral abilities, their neutral like combat prowess, and no one's kind of going ham or like going super OP or anything like that. They're all just attacking with their weapons and like, you know, general combat. Blake did use a little bit of her semblance, but Blake's semblance is mostly used for, like, defensive opportunities, not really physical, not really offensive. So, like, I just loved how initially, like, 1-to-1, they kind of, like, handled themselves. And then when everything kind of, like, got flipped on its head and they actually were, like, 3v, like, 50, then the semblances were, like, the anime power-up boost. Okay, we're turning things around, and where, you know, basically they take over. So I liked how it felt balanced throughout, and they didn't just go... And also, the white team was on their side up until the point where the king was like... Or where the prince was like, we're changing this up. So... Do you think the God of Light made Silver-Eyed Warriors to help Ozpin out? I think the God of Light created Silver-Eyed Warriors to combat the Grim, because it wouldn't really make a whole lot of sense to have the Grim be ever present after the gods were gone, but nothing to combat them directly. So I think that I think that's why. And they're not as varied as the Grim. They're very few and far between. So it's an OP like countermeasure, but it's not like it's not like a oh, well, we'll never have to worry about Grim because everyone and their mother has silver eyes. So yeah. Also, I love the crack, the freaking as his emotions get like worse and worse and worse. Like, he got so pissed off that he like cracked under the pressure of losing his game. Am I right, chat? But yeah. And I was curious too, like, what that expression or reaction was based on in the trailer when we first got it. I thought he got some information that caused him to like, just like his head exploded basically. Like it's like the freaking cartoon version of like your mind blown. And I guess in a way that's what it was, but it was also like accompanied by like rage because like fuck those humans, you know what I mean? Yeah. Oh my gosh, Armadillo, thank you for the super chat. Hello, how are you? Hey Arnold, finally able to join a live stream after so many years. Hope you're doing well and enjoying the volume so far. I know I am. Yeah, the volume's been so fun. Yeah, I've gone through the 3 episodes. This is the 3rd episode discussion, so I've been kind of doing these live stream discussions again after the last couple years of the hiatus. But it's so great to see you. Thank you so much for stopping by. Nerf Silver Eyes. But yeah, so I guess the confrontation of the board game and just like Team RWBY and the white team versus the red team was overall really entertaining, really enjoyable. Also, little blushing moment there, like Yang's like, yo, Blake, you got this, girl, and she's like, stop. So I just loved all of their little bits and banter, like Yang's just like getting the crowd hype. She's like, yo, come on, let me hear you. So I just love how all of them were in their moment. All of them had a bit of the spotlight to shine. So yeah, I just really, really liked it. I also love how extra the prince is. I love it, dude. He's like a showman, basically. I know he doesn't mean it. I know at the end of the day, this is like who he is. He's like, yo, it's my way or no way. It's my way or everyone dies. My dad's not around. There's no one to tell me what to do. I'm gonna do what I want. I don't give a damn. But I loved how like when he walked on the floor, the floor like lit up. It started like glowing, and he's like, it's not fair. And I'm like, bro, you're cheating, my guy. He's like, damn, bro, imagine cheating and still losing. Like, damn, bro. Yang was like, are you not entertained? Gosh, I love how chat had a hive mind response to that. Everyone literally said that at the same time. Are you not entertained? Holy shit. That's like a chat moment right there. That's a unified community moment. Yeah, I saw the Whitney Houston edit that you did, Aaron. Like, I'm not gonna sing it because I don't want to get like DMCA struck by the freaking YouTube bot, even though my singing is ass. But yeah, I thought that was really, really funny. But yeah, he's like, yo, you're a human? That means you cheated. And I'm like, I don't know if that's a good mindset to have there, Prince. But I loved how dramatic he is. I love how extra he is. It's very interesting too, because like this, again, it goes back to what I talked about at the beginning. Like, I really, really hope, I just hope in my heart we get to know about the original story with Alex and what exactly she did, what actions she did in the past that continue to have consequences and repercussions now that Team RWBY are now going through. Whatever game she played with this kid's father in the past seemingly caused A, the father to disappear, and B, caused everyone in the kingdom to just hate humans. So I don't want to say like, yeah, she killed him in cold red royal blood, am I right? But something clearly went on. Something clearly happened. She beat the Red King at his own game. And he might hate humans because Alex's actions, quote unquote, took his father away from him. So I can understand from that perspective as like a kid. It's like, oh, you're a human? You're just like that other filthy human that took away my dad or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, I could definitely see him having that, like, that prejudice against humans for you know, Alex in the past. My question is, how did they not recognize them as humans? So many years have passed since. Well, yeah, I assume too, because like you can't assume. I guess it's just you can't assume someone's how they physically present themselves. Like RWBY's like, she's like little as a mouse, I think, and Little's like, yeah, sure. If you, I don't know, if you think so, then yeah, let's go with that. So they don't have, like, yeah, that's the only thing I can think of is just like, you can't, yeah, it's like, did you just assume my species? Yeah, Little's just like, sure. Oh, that's such a funny response too. It's like, she said it, not me. But yeah, so I just think, and that's why he needed the clarification, because he was leading up to an assumption, but he wanted, like, it's like he already felt like he knew, but it's just appropriate to ask. It's like, let me just make sure that my hatred is justified here. What species did you say you were again? They never said what species they were initially. I don't think so, at least. But yeah, so, and then once he got that confirmation, he was like, it's on site. And then he just went batshit crazy. So yeah, it might not have been the fact that he didn't know. It's just he wants confirmation, which is always a good thing. There's nothing wrong with asking a question that you feel like you already know the answer to. You know, you never want to assume. That just makes an ass out of you and me. So yeah. Also, I loved the I don't know if you could, like, it's very faint, but I loved the effect that they used, like the echo effect when she said human. She's like, and the rest of us are human, and then you see the cat's eye. Also, the cat just popped up once she mentioned human, so I feel like he was just snooping around, just like super fascinated, and then he's like, oh, so they are humans. And then it's like human, and then it's just like the Red King is actually, the Red Prince is seeing red. But yeah, I loved this entire scene. I also like how Weiss uses her semblance there to kind of like ground herself. You know, it's like, yo, we're all these like tiny ass toys, and they're just getting flung around and whatnot. So yeah, this shot right here, the human shot, she's little as a mouse, I think. Sure. Like, do you not? I understand you don't have a name and you don't have a purpose, but do you even know what you are? Oh man. But yeah, I loved this moment here. This was it was just a good transitional moment. It's like, yeah, we're humans, you know, doing human things, showing up, causing mayhem, chaos, and pandemonium. But we, you know, we're the protagonists, so we kind of do our thing. But yeah, and then we get into one of the coolest fights in the series, in my opinion. Everyone had a moment to shine. Everyone popped off. The music was so freaking good. Casey, like, teased the night before. She was like, oh, episode 3 is Bop City. And I had a feeling it was gonna be this track, because this was the track that they used, or they used the opening part of the track during the the release date trailer, like the trailer that came out a couple weeks before the volume aired. And that was a bop, and I was like, oh my god, I can't wait for the soundtrack. And then we got like a portion of it, and it's so good. I think it's called Checkmate. I think that's what the song is called. So we have Inside and we have Checkmate. And yeah, I just thought it was fantastic. I thought the music went really well with the choreography and the fight scenes and everything like that. This is a complete blowout, by the way. They're fighting. Also, I didn't realize how gruesome this fight is, but I just saw that one shot with Weiss where she dashed to the right, and you just see the limp body of one of the red soldiers just fall flat to the ground, like lifeless. It's like, I know they're made of wood, but that's actually kind of, I don't know, that's kind of lifelike a little bit. It's almost as if they wanted to, they can just start killing humans in the real life, like in the real world. It's like, I feel like they don't feel as much remorse because these are just toy soldiers, you know, but they walk like us, they talk like us, but they don't bleed, so let them have it, boys. But yeah, loved all of this. I guess we can start from left to right, top corner to bottom right, or top left to bottom right. So they start out with the Bumblebee combo with Blake and Yang. This is like a classic at this point. Like, Yang was just like, all right, Blake, you know, we're going to do our thing. We've been doing this since we met. And I just love it. I love how it's like a constant callback, something that we saw it in volume We saw it in volume 6. We saw it in volume 7. We saw it in volume 2, which when it was like first established, like the Bumblebee. And that was super cool too, how they would incorporate like the shipping names back in the day with their team attacks, which was super awesome. And you know, everything kind of starts off simple for everyone. Like Weiss is kind of stabby, like slashing and moving about. Blake is kind of doing her thing too with her weapon, which it's a lot shorter, I think, too. The because when she fell into the Ever After, Cinder had like burned like a part of the ribbon off, because you know that's how her and Ruby ended up falling, because she like singed the ribbon. So it's a bit shorter in combat than what it usually is in terms of its reach. But I love this, man. I love how everyone just kind of popped off normally, and then they start getting a little overwhelmed with the white and red knights kind of working together. And it's at that point that they're like, okay, we got to turn up the heat. We got to pop off with the semblances. Yang's semblance, I swear to God, they get better and better with the visual effects. Like Yang's hair looks like fire. It doesn't even look like I think one of the last times we saw Yang's semblance was her fight against Adam. Like, right, her and Blake versus Adam. And like her hair back then, you could very much tell that her hair was like layered with something. Like it was almost like the hair was layered with like the fire effect. But in this one, it literally looks like her hair is fire, which is super freaking dope. So it just goes to show that like they've been using Maya like officially for RWBY since volume 4. And even when you look at volume 4, like volume 4 compared to now is super rough, because I feel like they were learning how to use it as they were using it for the show. But it's still crazy how much it scales with the visuals. And this is the same program. I don't know if the program gets like add-ons over the years, or if they're just tapping into or like learning more things about it as the years go on. Like, oh, we didn't know about this back in volume 6, but now we can use it in volume 8. I don't really know how like these animation programs work, or like how they even find this shit out. I guess everyone just kind of does their own research and just kind of brings that information to the team. But yeah, I just think it's cool. Like Yang's visuals alone, I was like, wow, that is incredible for the semblance of like, it doesn't even look like she has hair. It literally looks like her head's on fire and she's just gonna like burn herself alive. But I don't know, it was just like a super dope, like Super Saiyan moment, I feel like. And it makes sense too, because she gets like dogpiled by all of them, and then boom, like she dishes that power back to just like get stronger. The Weiss moment, need I say more, guys? Weiss literally reached her final form. She is literally the snow angel we've always known her to be, and the wings symbolize that. I was so like the second I saw that shot, my life had purpose again. I was like, guys, I really feel like I was at the end of my rope until that episode came out. I was like, you know what? I don't know, man. I don't know if this is worth. You know, it's like I don't know if I can. Life's getting harder and harder. You know, these episodes are. I don't know if they're hitting like they used to. And then I see the snow angel and that's my muse. That's my life purpose. And everything is good. I know that I can carry on now because that exists in the world, and it didn't exist before Saturday. So yeah, that's my final. I think that like pretty much seals the deal. Like Weiss is, if there was any doubt to begin with, Weiss is and will always be best girl. And they literally were like, yeah, she's a queen and she's a goddess. And I love how she combined her attack with Blake there. Like Blake, so like Weiss is putting in so much work here, by the way. She used her glyphs, jumped in the sky, summoned the Nevermore wings for the summon like feather attack, while simultaneously using the black glyphs to have Blake travel upside down to attack the guards on the ground with her Gamble Shroud ability. Like, and then on top of that, she uses her knight's sword in combination with Yang. Like, Weiss was the MVP of this fight. She was the actual, like, goated support. So freaking good, man. So good. I loved it. I loved everything about it. And I didn't realize that at first, that like, yeah, Blake was upside down during that, and she was just like picking them off with the like, I guess like the hook version of the gamble shroud, or like, yeah, like the bladed version of it with the ribbons. But I thought that was a really great combination. And then Ruby's the king's like, yo, just give up already, all right? You lost. And she's like, yo, freaking torch these guys, all right? Say less. All right, here's the one thing though, chat. Here's the one thing. All right, and I gotta get on Rooster Teeth's ass for this. I can't not say this. And it's like clockwork at this point. Time dilation when? You could have done it. You could have brought it back, man. It's been so many years, especially with the 2-year hiatus. I swear to God, I will never forgive them if they go the rest of this show without time dilation. But here's the thing, too. They're low on dust. So I'll give them that. But Blake just ran out of bullets, by the way. So things are getting a lot. I don't know. I don't know how much more they have in them. But, like, Weiss just used her semblance and her sword. Yang used her semblance and her grenades, which I guess she still has those, which makes sense. But, like, eventually they're going to run low and they're only going to have their combat and their semblances to help them out. And if they lose their aura, then they're kind of fucked at that point, because they won't have ammunition or aura or the use of their semblance. So they're kind of like 3 for 3 there. But it's like, bro, if they use her time dilation like at the final fight of Beacon, maybe that might save it. If Weiss just literally solos everybody by herself with time dilation, and she like buffs up all of Team RWBY with time dilation, and then they just go freaking ultra instinct mode and just defeat everything, and it's super spectacular, and it's like literally the best thing that we've ever laid eyes upon within this show and this series, the last 10 years would have been worth it. But let's see, Volume 2 was in 2014, so it's almost the 10-year anniversary that we've last seen this semblance used in the show. Can you imagine that? 10-year anniversary of of an ability. Bro, I'm literally, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna be so fucking extra. I actually might do this. I think I'm gonna do a 10-year celebration video to commemorate time dilation, because apparently I'm the only one that remembers it. God damn it. Oh, man. Oh, Rachel did this fight? Oh, my God. Oh, she was the board artist for this fight. Okay, so she laid it out. Oh, my God, that's so awesome. Yeah, I wonder who else worked on this fight, too. That's the craziest thing, too, guys. Like, so I did hear about this from just, like, the grapevine. I haven't seen the trailer yet for the Justice League yet. I'm gonna watch that in like another week or so. I'll probably watch it closer to when the Justice League movie comes out. But like, it's crazy that the Justice League movie is gonna be out on Blu-ray the same day that it releases, which should tell you how long ago they worked on all of this shit before it ever saw the light of day. Like, it's so crazy to think that so many people that worked on this volume, because I remember too, I think it was Jellopocalypse that tweeted out. They were like, oh, I didn't realize this, but my character is finally in RWBY. And it's like, yeah, because they recorded those lines like 3 years ago, it feels like. You know? And I don't know. It's just crazy to think. And I'm just really happy we're finally seeing what they were working on during the pandemic, what they were working on during the hiatus. And it's so bittersweet to think that some of those people might not have an opportunity, whether they have other opportunities or whether they feel like, you know, it was serendipitous that they were let go from Rooster Teeth to pursue like other career paths or whatever the case might be. But it's just super unfortunate that a lot of those people are probably never going to be involved with the series again, outside of being like a watcher or something like that. when a lot of the people that were around like pioneered this show, like even some that were around with with Monty and things of that nature, and over the course of like the first couple of volumes, like I know Joel and like Joel Mann and Dustin Matthews, I know that they're like OGs. They've been around for forever. And I don't know who's still there. I feel like they don't have an animation department anymore. At least for RWBY. I don't know about RWBY. I don't know what the hell they're doing with that show. I'm not caught up yet. Yeah, Melanie was there forever. But yeah, I don't know what Volume 10 is going to look like, because the people that are working on it, they might be good animators, but it's like, do you know the show? Do you know the characters? Do you know the quips and mannerisms and things that we would expect of them, Are we going to get any more Blake ear twitches, or is someone just going to be like, hey, let me just do the function itself and put it out there? Let me just do my job. I don't know. But, I don't know. And then on top of that, like, when the fuck is it even coming out? Like, after Volume 9, after the 2-year wait from Volume 8 to 9, outside of them writing it, I couldn't even tell you, like, when they'd even begin animating or doing any of that shit, which means we won't see it for even longer. I'm assuming we'll see it after Part 2 of the Justice League movie, depending on when that comes out, because Part 1 comes out in April, like late April, so that's Part 1. So I would assume that Part 2 would come out by the end of this year, maybe, if I were a betting man. Maybe the end of this year, if they already like worked on it and it's already put together and stuff like that. But yeah, Volume 10, like, I just hope that we don't go on just as long of a hiatus as we did this volume. And it depends too, because I feel like this volume was also on such a long wait time because they were juggling a 2-part movie and this volume. And I know they worked on a little bit of, like, they did the in-house animations for the video game Arrowfell. So it's just so much to put on people at once. And then because nothing's going out, you can't just pay people if money's not coming in. So unfortunately, the layoffs had to happen from a business standpoint. But it sucks that is an industry thing, But I don't know. I understand at the end of the day, maybe the ball dropped, maybe, or whatever. I just wonder what Volume 10 is going to be like. Volume 10 hasn't been announced yet, but like, logic would dictate that there would be a Volume 10 after Volume 9. It just makes sense. It just depends on when and where and how they announce it, which I assume they might have information on Volume 10 at RTX. I'm actually not going to RTX this year. This is going to be my first RTX since 2016 that I won't be going. Just because financially, I'm not like, I have taxes to pay next month, number one. And number two, Cal can't go to RTX because she has like a musical theater like play performance that is mandatory and it takes place during RTX. So I also feel like I just wouldn't enjoy myself as much if she wasn't there. So yeah. And also, like, even if they show stuff or talk about stuff, last year, they had everything that they talked about at the panel released to the public within an hour. So it also felt like if I'm going there just for the exclusive news and information, I feel like the public is going to know about it just as quickly as the RTX goers. So that's another thing too. Yeah, I have taxes to pay this year. I have taxes to pay next month, and I'm just like, and... Oh, you guys want to know something crazy? Your boy got the double whammy. In April, I have taxes to pay and I have jury duty. Like, fuck me, right? It's like the actual worst timeline to be living in. So realistically, I'm just like, okay, I got to pay a bunch of money to the government, and then I have to pay money out of pocket to go and be a juror for a trial. And that's not fun. And then they just dropped RTX ticket prices, and I'm just like, I can't foresee if I'm even willing to go by the time that comes, even if I can book a hotel. So yeah. Jury duty, you can't dodge that. Well, here's the thing. This is my second jury duty summons. The last one that I got, Actually, this is my third jury duty summons, technically. The first jury duty summons I ever got was in 2020, was in 2022, and that got canceled, so I dodged a bullet. The second time I got jury duty, I was summoned, but I was already in Canada. I got summoned in December of this past December, but I was in Canada, and I was in Canada for like 2 months, so I was like, I can't do it. I'm literally out of the country. And so they gave me a postpone. They granted me postponement, and now, third time's the charm. I'm contemplating seeing if I can have it deferred again, but I don't know if there's any time for me to do jury duty. It's probably now, because I don't want them to ask me for jury duty like during the summer when Cal graduates and like we want to go on a cruise, or we want to, you know, like me visit her or her to visit me, and I'm like, oh well, I have jury duty, so that's gonna get into it, or like the holidays again. So I feel like I wouldn't get out of it. Like I feel like they'd be like, oh, we deferred you on the last one, so you kind of have to do this one. But the thing is, I don't like the court is an hour away from where I live. I don't drive. Like, I don't have a car. I have a driver's license, but I don't own a car. And my phone's not allowed in the courthouse, so I can't bring my phone with me. But, like, I don't understand how they expect me to get from here to another city, and that's an hour away without my phone, if I can't bring it in the courthouse. And it's like pulling teeth. Like, I can't, like, realistically ask anyone that I know, hey, can you take me an hour to and from for an X amount of days, weeks, months? It's just so inconvenient. Just don't go. Yeah, the penalty for not going is $1,000 fine, 3 days in prison, or both. So, and then on top of that, I still think they force you to go next time. So it's not like, you know what I mean? I don't know. Yeah, being self-employed is not a valid excuse. Not having transportation is not a valid excuse, but it's like, well, when I don't show up, then you'll understand that, like, I'm not bullshitting you. Like, it's so hard. Yeah. I gotta figure out something. Yeah, I have no idea. And I don't know for how long either. I could rent a car. I've never rented a car before. That's like my biggest fear. Bro, renting a car, and then how would I don't know. How would that work if I get into a car accident? If I don't have a car, that means I don't have insurance. Like, I don't know if they put insurance on it, but like my biggest fear is if like my car if I get into a car accident or something. Yeah. It's annoying, but I have like 2 weeks to figure it out, so I'm gonna chit chat. I'm also gonna see if they have any type of travel accommodations, because I know that they can compensate you for up to a certain amount if you travel there, like if you live super far or whatever. So yeah. I can't believe how much I'm learning. Yeah, imagine that. Hey, this is what we pay for. This is the democracy we pay. It's like, hey, you want the world and the freedoms you have? Do your civic duty and be a jury of your peers. But yeah. Anyways, let us carry on. Long story short, time dilation, I want it back. I'm paying taxes and I have jury duty, so it's the worst possible time for me to get anything for RTX. So I might not be going. And yeah, and I do not like it. Moving on. That was such a weird, I don't know. That was just like a weird, like, transitional one. I don't even know how we got into that conversation. Anyways. Yeah, timeline, time dilation, taxes, jury duty. Oh, yeah, that's right. Hold on. Yeah, so this reminded me of this. I think I mentioned it in the reaction too, but the slingshot, the monochrome, the bees schneeze slingshot combo reminded me of the Volume 1, Chapter 8 slingshot combo with Team RWBY. And that it's very good. The second I saw Blake and Weiss with the freaking, like, crossing the like her bow, I was like, yo, it's over for you bitches. Ultimate team attack, no, ultimate team jutsu. Yeah. Team ultimate jutsu. Yeah, the sword was a really cool addition. It's great too. Like Weiss has such a Weiss has developed her semblance so well. A lot of people don't remember this. Well, I'm not gonna say a lot of people, but I feel like it's very forgettable of a moment. But that was the first successful moment where where Weiss summoned the Nevermore wings. I think she originally tried to summon it back during volume, I think it was volume 8 when the Hound was showing up, if I'm not mistaken. But like we hadn't seen it in like forever since then. Like it's been, I mean, it feels like it's been forever, but like 2 years later, we're seeing like the wings finally come out. But I don't know if she fully summoned it. I think it got like I think it got destroyed like immediately as it was coming out of the ground. So she hasn't summoned it wholesale yet, but the fact that she got the wings out to like serve her in that moment was super cool. And she summoned just the sword. She didn't even need to summon the knight. So now she can summon aspects of her summons without the whole damn thing, which is super dope. That just shows like a super, like a, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a very calculated, like usage of manipulating her summons, like what she specifically needs out of it. She doesn't need the whole thing just to summon the knight. What would have been badass? Yo, what would have been fucking badass is if she summoned the armor around Yang. So like Yang is equipped with the armor of her summon, with the fiery hair coming out the back, and she's wielding the sword, and then they freaking slammed it. That would have been next. Like the next level from here is that she equips armor to her teammates. And that's ripped straight out of Naruto. Like Naruto, like the Susanoo armor, like the Naruto Sasuke combo was like Sasuke would equip his Susanoo armor onto Kurama, and it would be like a Kurama equipped with the Susanoo armor. Like that's literally that's literally where I got it from. And I'm like, oh, let me apply this to RWBY real quick. So if that shit happens, you're welcome. All right. All right. I'm just gonna have Aaron write that down for the next team meeting. I don't know. That would be sick though, right? That'd be dope. That'd be hype. Yeah. I mean, I'm still fine with this because like it's whatever, but I feel like equipping armor to your teammates would be some like boss, like some end game like boss level upgrades. Equip them with armor and then equip them with time dilation speed so that way the armor doesn't slow them down. I'm writing the finale boss fight with Salem as we speak. Like it's actually kind of wild. Like this shit just comes to me, bro. Write that down. Hey, if it happens, you will hear me screaming. All right. Also, this is literally why I thought of Fall Guys. Like, tell me not. Tell me not. They're falling. That's literally Fall Guys. Someone was clever about this, all right? I would like to believe that whoever animated this moment thought to themselves, huh, Fall Guys is kind of taking the world by storm right now. Our guys, though referenced from another video game, we can still have it both ways. Why not have it Nier meets Fall Guys collab? Nier meets RWBY meets Fall Guys collab right here. But yeah, I like I can't not see the Fall Guys. I'm sorry. But yeah, I loved it. Also, I completely forgot to mention this too, but this here also reminds me of Raven. How she summoned the giant ice sword against Cinder in Volume 5, and like mother like daughter, Yang's popping off here as well with it. So that's another thing I forgot to mention. Little's little jump. Yeah, Little's over here like she's Little's like I think they saved, did they save Blake? I think they caught Blake, and yeah, they caught Blake. Oh, look at that. The mouse saves the cat, and now there's another cat involved. So I don't know. It's just really, it's so wholesome how integrated Little has been to the characters immediately. Yeah, Little definitely came in clutch. Yo, Little just saved Bumblebee, by the way. All you Bumblebee shippers, you guys owe Little your appreciation, your love, respect, and admiration, and everything else that it deserves. Or that they deserve, I should say. But yeah, I thought that was great. They saved your ship. Oh, and then the star of the hour, the star of the episode, am I right? This is my most anticipated character of the bunch. The curious cat, the Cheshire cat, a catchy-coon, some may say, for any of you cultured Persona 5 or Persona 5 Royal fans. Yeah, a catchy-coon is here. God. I love the animation they did for him. Like, I could only imagine what animating, I don't even know how you would do that. Like, you'd have to, like, you keep it, like, he goes invisible, he comes back, he separates, he reconnects himself, he disappears, he reappears. Like, that must be a headache. And the purring, too. Yo, whose cat did they put into booth? Whose cat did they get in the booth for this? Was it Taco? Was it Tacoma? Was it one of the animator's cats or something? Taco was visual reference? Ooh. Yo, Taco's in RWBY? That's so cool. But yeah, the purring was next level. Like the one shot's like, how do you know the king? And then they just went extra. They were like, with the purrs. I'm not gonna do it because that is I don't even know how. I don't even think that's humanly possible to purr like a cat, and I don't want anyone here to die of cringe, so let's not attempt that. Let's not do that. Purring on stream is against TOS. Oh man. But yeah, I love this. It felt so cool just to see how Robbie Daymond like brings this character up, like how he like kind of brings the character to life. And again, very like kind of like a mischievous, kind of sussy demeanor a little bit. Like I feel like there's meaning in everything that he's saying. He's trying to like get through to the prince without the prince realizing it. There was also this shot right here. And I want to talk about this because this is actually really interesting. So he's talking to the prince here, and he's talking about how, you know, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, woe is you, actually. All you want to do is do what you were put on this acre to do, which is to win your game at any cost. How dare these humans? But you probably shouldn't kill them. That would be kind of bad. So he's trying to, like, soothe them. He's trying to, like, de-escalate the situation. And he says, let me help you. And his little cat effect affected his heart. And it changed his demeanor. And then he's like, all right, I guess I won't kill them then. And in my head, I'm thinking, is the Cheshire cat a key to potentially changing someone back to their original self if they lose themselves, or if they, you know, if they lose their identity or whatever? So, you know, like how that in the trailer, the person talking basically prompted RWBY with a choice to like change herself, like to kind of do away with her old self and like become a new person, like a new identity. And the theory right now is that that's what happened with Jean. He's, oh my God, he's actually a Phantom Thief. Oh my God. You're kidding, dude. You're fucking kidding. No way. He actually stole his heart. Oh my god. That is wild. Holy shit. And the fact that he's a cat could also be like a Morgana moment too. I am not a cat. He's like actually not a cat. He's just like a person that turned into a cat or something. Oh my, yeah, I actually never saw it coming. Holy shit. I actually just realized that. That is wild, dude. What the hell? But yeah, like, I wonder if the cat is gonna be a potential, like, key component in helping someone revert back to their original self if they change drastically. Like, so if Jean was like, I just freaking committed assisted suicide on Penny, how can anyone ever think that I could be a good person again? Like, I hate myself. I don't want to feel this way anymore. And then Jean gets his heart changed, and now he's known as the Rusted Knight. Or RWBY, Penny, Pyrrha, Atlas, Beacon, like, everything is just like repressed. Her mom, her sister's arm, like everything, like her friend's well-being, and it just causes her to change. And then will the Cheshire Cat be involved in that plot as well if that happens, or if RWBY goes through with it? So yeah, Atlas, more like Atlas. Oh my god. Okay, we need to stop. The persona parallels are actually so deeper than I originally thought. I thought it started and ended at a Kachi-kun, but we're talking about Atlas, the kingdom, not the developer of the critically acclaimed Persona 5 Royal that you should all play. But yeah, I didn't realize the Phantom Thief, the stealing the hearts, like, they really did that. I can't believe that, bro. Oh man, are you gonna? Oh wait, are we gonna see Catherine too? Oh my god, I swear to God, if that knight, or not knight, if that freaking blacksmith is named Catherine, I'm literally dropping the show. All right, Catherine, I'm leaving. I'm not gonna settle for this. I'm leaving. Have fun without me. Are we done? Did we get it all out of our system? Are we done now? All right, we're done now, right? I've let you had your moment. I also used that opportunity to use the bathroom because I've gone through 2 bottles of water, and I've been needing to go for a while, and I was like, you know what? Aaron, you just gave me the perfect out. I'm out of here. Go away, Arnold. I want the chair. Well, thanks for joining the stream. Oh, man. Chair-kun stream, let's fucking go. I'm sorry to disappoint you. I'm still here. Aeon Productions, thank you for the super chat. Yo, about to dip from the stream, but just wanted to give my 2 cents on the Jabberwocker. I think that it's Alex. Wish I could fit more in this message. I was actually going to talk about that towards the end of the episode, actually, but yeah, I mean, we jumped the gun, we jumped ahead a little bit, but yeah, I'll definitely talk a little bit more about my thoughts on that moment in particular. Wow, everyone's like, yo, Chair-kun stream, damn, y'all don't even appreciate your boy. I come here every week, bringing you guys consistent, deep, thought-provoking discussions on the latest episode of RWBY, and all you guys care about is the damn chair. This might be the last discussion I ever do. I think it's for the best. You guys have clearly said your piece. I know how you truly feel. And so, let's just get through this, shall we? I don't want to keep you guys any longer than I have to. Long story short, I really think this whole heart change thing is going to be important down the road. And if so, I'm excited that the cat is joining us for the journey. Also, I love this animation, by the way. Like, it just phased into existence. I don't even understand how that would work. Also, I know we're super late into this, but the one shot of Little when they all turn small, he's like, they're like, now we're all little. Like, that was, my heart literally melted. I was like, oh my gosh, you're actually right. Little is actually, how does one little? You're actually doing it just by existing. I loved that moment too. I didn't mention it earlier, but now that I see this shot here, they're all little in the palm of RWBY's hands. And it's just like, damn, y'all are looking a little scuffed. Yeah, he's mousing around. Damn. Oh, Kayla A, thank you for the $10 super chat. Appreciate that. Thank you. Actually, comparing size, little, yo, there's a one shot coming up. Actually, so really quick, I don't want to jump ahead, but someone mentioned it, and I'm gonna reference it and talk about it too. But I just want to get through this part right here. Also, Aaron, thank you for the $5 super chat. Okay, but for real though, it's so amazing seeing you be excited and engaging over the stuff we worked so long ago on. It's such a special feeling. I know that's like the thing that's crazy about it, Aaron, is that we met, what, in 2016 at my first RTX in 2016 following volume 3, and you, like, I think at that time you were about to go to school for like animation and stuff, and it's just so crazy that you were in the same position I was that I'm in, where you also reacted and you did videos and you did streams and discussions and stuff like that, and then you're like, yeah, I want to do animation. Yeah, I want to work on RWBY. And then you manifest, that shit just actually happened. Like, that's wild to me. Like, the closest thing for me is just like, oh yeah, I was a fan and I watched the show. But like, to watch it and know someone that is in the community prior to becoming like a hired animator is wild. Like, it's so cool. And then I can go around and be like, hey, my friend animated that. You know? That's the coolest thing ever. I don't know the first thing about animating. All I know is, like, if I see it, you know, if it's eye candy, if it looks good, if it plays out well, you know, I'm on board with it. So I don't know. I just think it's great in general. Like, this is a super cool volume, 3 chapters in, and it's just like, I wish I don't know, like it feels like a portion of the audience is kind of like disconnected with it, because again, the people, like, what used to be super exciting, and I guess still is in a different way, was like when volumes used to come out, it wasn't something that was like years before it saw the light of day. So it felt super close to when the people were working on it. And so it almost felt like it was cool for like the crewbie to see their reactions along with the community watching the episodes. But like, I feel like some people are just so detached from when they worked on it that it's like few and far between now, because like everyone's doing different stuff. But yeah, I'm so happy that they're finally able to just get hyped and see what they worked on finally come out, even if it's not something that they're actively a part of anymore. So that's pretty standard for the animation production. Yeah, I just feel like it's a little different because, like, for Rooster Teeth, it felt like the same people were working on the same thing. Like, it felt like, from the outside looking in, of course, like, obviously people come and go, but the bulk of the production never changed, and it was never like, okay, this team's gonna work on this team's gonna work on that, this team's gonna work on that. It was just like, this core animation, RWBY animation team was working on this for so long, and now it's gonna be different. So but yeah, and again, this is from my perspective, like people that I know that were still there. Like obviously I don't know the grander scheme of people that were getting replaced and people coming in, people going out, but like the faces that I met when I went there for the first time, the people that I like knew who like watched my reactions back in the day and who would message me and tell me how encouraging it was and how motivating it was to know that someone like me represented the audience of people that get hyped and excited for the show, like every volume or every episode. Like those core people were the ones that I always knew that were there, were always working and stuff like that, and that's changed now. So yeah, I'm really happy that they're finally getting their dues, and like credits too, like people are being credited. Like I watched, I think the last episode in Discord a couple days, like last week with my Discord community, and I was seeing names in the credits of people that like I'm like they are no longer there anymore, and it's such a surreal feeling. Because it's like, damn, they still made this thing, and it finally, like, we're finally getting to see it. But yeah. This bottom shot was also really great, too. Just seeing, again, more of the castle. Like, this was very, like, Alice in Wonderland. Like, the Escher stairs and all that stuff was so cool. And like it almost felt like there was no way out of this place. Like it was like a forever maze if the cat wasn't here. So animation wise, this entire shot, like the camera too, just was like I was taken aback a little because I was like, wait a minute, the cat was on the floor, but the room just rotated and Ruby's now upside down on the ceiling, and now she's on the side paneling and all that. Yeah, the layout, like it's so cool. Yeah, the camera's doing a lot of the work here too, which I really liked. And we saw this from the trailer, which was super cool. Like, each door goes a different direction, a different way, and gravity's working against you. And yeah, it was definitely a trip for sure. So I wanted to... so I just want to express this because it's so fucking funny. But Little is not so little anymore. Little is actually pretty chunky in this one shot here. Sitting next to the rest of Team RWBY. And it's big Little. Yeah, or they're a little big. They're a little big. Yeah, you're not littling anymore, you're bigging. God, it's so funny. It's just like a giant... it's like a fat rat just chilling next to you. It's so, like, if I just took that screenshot and posted it online with no context, it's like, what would someone who hadn't seen RWBY in years think? It's so... it's like, what? They have a life-size rat in RWBY now? What happened? Like, it's like they're a part of Team RWBY. Like, RWBY... I would only assume that people would think that RWBY turned into a giant rat. They're a little bigger. Well, the thing is, no, Little hasn't changed their size, but like comparatively, Little is just like super chonky compared to them. At the same height too. God, that's so funny. That's so funny, man. Oh man, that's so good. I don't think I noticed that the first time either. Like the first time I watched, because I was listening to, I was freaking out about a Catchy-kun. But yeah, that's such a funny shot. Just seeing. Also, bro, I can't help but feel like is Little okay? Does Little have narcolepsy? Because 1 second they are awake and like big chilling with the squad, and then the next second they're sleeping. They're so sleepy. They're sleeping in every episode. And I'm just like, are you okay? Yeah, they're not even expending that much energy. They're just kind of like living their life. It's like, damn, we picked the sleepy one of the group to help us on our journey. Yeah. I mean, realistically, I should let them get their sleep. They're like carrying this volume. Am I right? They're carrying this volume on their shoulders. The least you can do is let him sleep. But yeah, I'm just curious if that's relevant at all or something. I don't know, like, or maybe it's just the mouse likes to sleep a lot, but it's like I don't even think the sleepy version of Klein sleeps that much. Up all night gaming. Yo, they were rat jamming and rat gaming. God. But yeah, there's the one. So I tweeted this last night, but I love the line that the cat says to them. So first off, okay, let's rewind real quick. So the cat helps RWBY through. They make it out, and they're talking about, like, how did you get in this predicament? What's going on? They're like, we were looking for the Red King, didn't find him, back to square one. And the Red King exists, apparently. It's like, how do you know him? And I really hope this cat starts spitting straight facts about the king in the next chapter or pretty soon, because apparently something happened, something in this world changed. Alex's actions did something that changed, that resulted in the king no longer being present. I don't know if he got freaking skadooed out of the world. I don't know if he went to Remnant. I don't know if he changed and he's like in a different appearance, right? Because we see a lot of butterflies, and I think in general butterflies signify evolution, like a form of evolving or developing, or like going through a metamorphosis, like a transformation. So from a caterpillar to a cocoon to a butterfly. So I don't know if the king is just different, or if they had an identity change, or whatever happened between him and Alex. But yeah, I'm just curious about that, because that plays into why he's not here, and why the red like toy soldier army doesn't like humans, and why they think like oh, your kind, if it wasn't for your kind, the king would still be here. So what did Alex necessarily do? It's just a lot of intrigue, and it's a lot of exposition that they're giving us without like giving it to us. Like they pretty much pieced, like we can piece based on like the snippets of information that clearly there are consequences and repercussions to what Alex has done in the past. And I just really hope they give that to us in a way that doesn't feel rushed. And again, I think the next, we're getting like an acre per episode. So again, episode 1 was the tropical acre. Episode 2 was the Toy Town. Episode 3 was the Red Kingdom. Episode 4 is likely going to be the dark, like fungi, glow in the dark forest. And then after that, you got 6 episodes. You could go to other acres if you want, but I feel like those first 4 are going to kind of establish the environmental tone of the Ever After, and then the next 6 might necessarily be the Toy Town and the Red Kingdom is technically the same acre. I guess they just feel different because like they're 2 different settings realistically. Like one's in a town and one's in like the forest and the castle and all that. But yeah, technically we've only been to 2 acres, but 1 acre took part in 2 episodes that were 2 different locales. But yeah, now it seems like we're gonna go to the forest, and that might be that. I think that's where we're gonna meet the butterfly or the caterpillar that was in. They have like 3 eyes, and in the first trailer, they were like, "Who are you? What are you?" And they were like peeking through like the leaves, like the pile of leaves. So I'm just curious, like that's another character being introduced. We don't know if they're a good person or a bad person, or if they're like how they're going to shake up the dynamic of the story thus far and how they apply to Alex's time versus this time and whatnot. But before I get too ahead of myself, there's one line that the cat said that I really like. It's the last line before they get out of here. He says, "Well, times change, you know, and so do we when it's our time to change. Do you?" And I don't know, the way they worded that is just so, I don't know, it's just so whimsical. It's kind of like damn, like the only time we change is when it's time to change. And I don't know if that's like if he's just like signifying anything, because he talks about the red, like they were just talking about the Red King. So it makes me wonder if the Red King went through a change of some sort and they just don't know what he changed into. But oh yeah, don't you. Sorry, don't you, not do you. I'm like out of it today. I'm saying king when I mean to say prince. I'm like mixing up my words here. When's the Cat's album dropping? But yeah, I love the way he said it too. It's just so eloquent. And again, I feel like it's because RWBY, and like I'm thinking of Akechi, and I'm just like, oh, you silver-tongued devil, you. I swear to God, if this cat pulls anything, if this cat becomes a Sasuke, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I also wondered if the king was Oz, but like, it's just Oz. Like, I thought of that, and the reason I thought of that was because, like, the King of Vale was the last King of Vale, and like, I'm like, okay, that clearly was Ozpin or Ozma in a past life, but how far back does Ozma's existence? Like, Ozma's existence goes back to the gods. And if this place has anything to do with the relic's origins, maybe that could be an aspect of, like, maybe Ozma was the king of this place at a time, and that's how Ozpin knows about the story. So I did think about that too. I was thinking, like, well, a king, someone that important, like, maybe. But it also begs the question, did Ozma have a kid here? Because there's a red prince. So it's like his son? I don't know. I don't know. Or it could go back to my original theory that I was like, oh, the king and the king's crown could be the relic and the spirit of the crown of choice. And so he got whisked away to Remnant. My bad. Yeah, someone's still keeping tabs on that king counter. I'm at 33 right now. In 2 hours. Yeah. I'm being serious when I say that. Like, that shit is literally embedded into my freaking frontal cortex. And it's not, like, I don't know, man. I'm gonna need to get, like, brain surgery to be like, okay, Arnold, you have to unlearn that. Bye, Aaron. Thank you for hanging out with us. Really appreciate it. Props to you on the volume so far, and thanks for hanging out. Say hi to Taco and Yona. Is that your other cat? I think that's the name of your other cat. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for stopping. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Nice. Yeah, and we're winding down here anyway. So they end up finding out, like, oh shit, the king did survive. So Alex must have done some shit. Weiss is still not happy. She's like, the stupid ass book sequel, goddammit. Like, we're still in this story after all. So obviously they have to get to the cat before any crazy shit happens. And then obviously introductions. What are you? What did you want to talk to the king about? And what is your favorite dessert? Chat, what's your favorite dessert? Sound off. Everyone likes dessert, right? There's no one in here that doesn't like dessert, right? I am curious. That's a very interesting question. Like, maybe it's just like, oh, I wonder what your favorite is, because I love it. Maybe the cat likes desserts also. Ice cream, pecan pie. Yeah, I like ice cream too. Ugh, I want ice cream now. With hot fudge and whipped cream. I might be getting ice cream today, chat. We might be doing an ice cream, a Neapolitan ice cream night. Don't tell Cal. She'll eat all of it. But yeah, this interaction was great. I love the cat's involvement. So can we talk about the god of light and darkness for a second? We all were thinking the same thing here, right? I literally thought the realm of light, the realm of darkness, the god of light and darkness. Also, it's very interesting how the dark side of the bridge is on the light side and the light side of the bridge is on the dark side. That shit looks so sick. But yeah, I thought this was super cool. Also, you know how all of the acres are all separated by a bridge? You ever wonder what happens if you fall twice? Like, they already fell once. Like, I wonder what would happen if they fell even deeper. Like, if they fell again. Because, like, these places are all kind of suspended, like, and there's, like, a foggy bottom. And there's just, like, if they fall there, they end up in vacuum. Yo, that'd actually be, like, super convenient. The funny thing is if, like, what if the only way to get back home is if you fall again? And it was just that easy, but they didn't find out until the very end. The tree is just a misdirection. It's like, oh, you want to get back home? Just jump down there and you'll go back to wherever you came from. Or even better, it's like a portal. Like, you fall down and then you come up from the ceiling. And then it's just like a portal moment, like where you put a portal on the bottom and then the floor and the ceiling, and then you just keep jumping through it forever. Yeah, it's definitely a Portal 2 moment. But yeah, I literally thought of the God of Light and Darkness here. Also, this acre is sus as fuck for reasons like, I have no idea why, but like, I clearly thought of the gods of light. Like, that's the first thing that crossed my mind when I heard that, when I saw this. And then we have the Jabberwocker here. Let's talk about this. This is super fascinating. Also, say hi to Chaircoon. Cameo with the boys, big chilling in the background. But first thing that's interesting is that the Jabberwocker bleeds. So it was coming through this acre and it ran by razor sharp grass that didn't have blood a second ago, and then it just cut the shit out of it on the side there, and which signifies that it's blood, so it can bleed. And then I started thinking, if it's blood, could this potentially be somebody that changed into this? And then I started thinking, imagine if the Jabberwocker is either Alex or the bigger misdirection. What if it was Jean? I don't know. I highly doubt that, because like the Jabberwocker is still part of the story. But like, I just wonder if it's somebody, but we just don't know. Because like, I also wonder, like, that scene either signifies that the razor grass is super sharp to the point where it can cut someone and they can bleed, or it was signifying that the Jabberwocker can bleed, which implies that it could be human, or like an actual like living thing and not just like a fairy tale thing, like a toy made of wood or something like that. But yeah, it would be very interesting if Alex didn't change, if Alex did change during her story and she just became something like this that can't communicate, that can't talk, that doesn't have like a sense of their own purpose anymore, and it's just like doing whatever the hell this thing is doing. And what the hell is it even here for? And more importantly than that, the acre itself is super weird. Like it seems like this is like a corrupted like ruin kind of area. This almost kind of gives me like the God of Darkness's like domain, like where Salem resides. You see all these ruined structures in the back. You see like gears and stuff. It's like picking up some stuff. It's like, it was saying the word fix. It was like fix. So did it come here because it cut itself and it's like, I need to fix myself, so let me find something? I don't know. It's super weird. I don't know. And it came here after losing or after running off from Team RWBY. So that's another thing too. Neo falls through the sky here. And it's way after RWBY fell, despite it seeming like they both fell at roughly the same time. But maybe the falling, maybe there's no concept of that. Maybe the laws are different here. So RWBY fell first, so she's earlier in the story. And then Neo's plot is now developing as Team RWBY makes progress. So now it's time for Neo to fall in line. Maybe that's it. But yeah, Neo ends up falling here. And some crazy shit happens. I think this moment, what's happening when she's changing is like she can't talk. So she's just expressing her frustration. She's like, damn it, I almost killed Ruby in the ever after, like, void space-time moment. I almost got her, and then she got away from me. And then she changes to Cinder to signify, that bitch double-crossed me. I thought I could trust her. So, like, she's basically expressing her frustrations when she turns into Ruby, because that's the most recent person she interacted with. And then it was Cinder. And now I think the world, this could be twofold, chat. Number one, the world is responding to Neo's emotions similar to how it responds to Ruby's, but it seems a bit more significant here because it seems like it could also be combining with her semblance. So I don't know if her semblance evolved here or if her semblance evolved and the world is amplifying it. But there's an army of Neo, which is the worst thing in the world for me because my girlfriend won't stop talking about it. I love her. This is just jokes, okay? I love her dearly. She loves this character with all of her heart, but like, I feel like I haven't not heard of Neo since the volume has started. Anyways, the best thing in the world that could have ever happened to her, for me, you know, it's a give and take kind of thing. But yeah, so she creates like there's 10 Neo here. So there's Neo's ice cream. So they got 10 of these. There's also 10 silhouettes. So there's 9 silhouettes and Neo in the intro. So what I think is going to happen, and I mentioned this in my reaction, is I think Neo is going to create her own like entourage of people, and each of these other Neos is going to take the image of someone that she knew in her life. And so she's basically going to create her own story, her own fairy tale, her own reality here. And one of them has to be Roman. Roman in the Maya engine, I feel, is all but confirmed here. And so we'll have Roman, we'll have her mom, we'll have her dad from the Roman holiday book, and any other assorted characters that were probably in the book. I have not read the book, so I don't really know the significance of characters or people in her life. There might also be a version of her, like a Trivia Vanille version, because her name is Trivia Vanille before she became Neo. So like Neo is the person she kind of like always wanted to be, I think, or like the manifestation of the person she like thought herself to be removed from her old life. But Trivia Vanille is who she used to be. So I think there even might be a younger version of her. But I think like the best part is that I think the best part of it is that like we get to see Roman. And she basically, this is like a world for her where he never dies or whatever. I don't think it's going to be that. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't think it's going to be that satisfying, though, because these are basically her own clones. And if you look, they mirror her. So she looks to the right, they look to the right. She looks to the left, they look to the left. So they kind of, and then they do things. She gives them a command, and then they do it. And I think they're like beating the shit out of this Jabberwocker, by the way. It's not dead. She didn't kill it because there's a shot in the trailer where Yang's punching it in the back of its head. So it's not dead. She didn't kill it. But I think she just, I guess she's just kind of like flexing on it and is trying to like, I don't know, she's going to make it like her personal pet or something. I don't know. But yeah, so I don't know. It's just very interesting overall. I wonder what the significance of the Jabberwocker is in the overall plot, because Alex didn't kill it. So like, if Alex didn't kill it, was it even a part of her original story? And if not, then what changed that led the Jabberwocker to be a character in this sequel story, if not a change of someone, like Alex changing into it or whatever the case might be. Also, I love like how all of the freaking Neos, like this one's already got their fist clenched. Like they're just like, yo, you rolled into the wrong freaking neighborhood, buddy. And they're just gonna like freaking A-Town stomp this freaking Jabberwocker. Yeah, also, there's a chance that none of those none of those clones, Jesus, none of the Neo clones will talk. The only way that they'll talk is if it makes sense for them to talk. Like, also, actually, I don't know, because Roman doesn't, I think Roman has a VA from the, it's Chris Wetcamp, right? The VA for Clover, who did the VA for Roman in Ice Queendom, right? But here's the thing, chat. And this is something that Cal and I have actually talked about. It was revealed. Hold on, give me 1 second. Let me just double check this real quick. Yeah, it was revealed that Billy Kometz was supposed to voice act for Roman back, obviously before the time of their passing. And because this volume was worked on prior to us ever seeing it, that means voice acting could have potentially happened before they passed away. So think of it this way. What if Billy got his voice lines in for volume 9, but unfortunately passed away before the voice acting for Ice Queendom? There could be potential that Roman does have voice lines in volume 9. It would be incredible if they ended up being able to do that and they honor his memory by having those present in volume 9. Let's see. Yeah, that's correct. Chris Wetcamp took over for Billy since he passed away. Yeah, so I'm wondering how soon they did voice lines for volume 9, because RWBY didn't get their voice lines in for the dub until like after the Japanese version had come out. No. Roman's original VA did not pass away. No. Gray Haddock was the original voice actor for Roman in Volume 1. They are no longer at Rooster Teeth, so they no longer voice the character. What I'm referring to is that when RWBY Ice Queendom got announced, they were going to do it. They did an English dub, which means recasting all of the old casts for the characters. Gray Haddock wasn't at Rooster Teeth. I don't think he has a business relationship with them anymore, so they needed to replace him, and they got Billy Kometz to do the voice lines. But however, Billy Kometz passed away before they ended up doing voice lines for the English dub of Ice Queendom. What I'm basically implying is if Roman is in this volume, and if they plan to have him be voiced, there's a potential that Billy did voice lines for Volume 9 before he ever got the opportunity to do voice lines for Ice Queendom, because Ice Queendom was being worked on long after. So it is, yeah, and the thing too is, like, Persona 5 Royal is my favorite video game of all time. Persona 5 was my favorite video game of all time. In that game, Goro Akechi is my favorite character, voiced by Robbie Daymond. And then 2 years later, they came out with Persona 5 Royal, which is the definitive edition of Persona 5. And Billy voiced Dr. Maruki, who is also known as the Dr. Snacks. And he became my favorite character in Royal, surpassing Akechi, even after all of the new shit they added. So like I don't know all of the works that Billy did over the course of his acting career, but that I cried like a fucking bitch at the end of Persona 5 Royal, and a huge part of that was what they added to the game with Maruki's character and his performance on top of that. So there could be a chance that Billy's voice could have been, like, he could have done voice lines for Roman during production of Volume 9, but because of the 2-year wait, we never got to, it could still be a potential thing. It's either that or Chris Wetcamp will most likely voice for Roman if he has voice lines, if he's in this volume at all. So yeah. But yeah, so that's the only significance of it, is if they could give voice lines. It's fine for Neo's clones to talk, but Neo herself most likely will never talk. Yeah, I think it's fine for them to talk, especially because Neo could just use her imagination to have the clones replicate what she knows they sound like. You know what I mean? Like, she can take it to that extent, like talk like Roman does. And it's not her talking, it's her clone performing an action and matching that action based on what she knows. And all of the people that she'll change these clones into are people from her life, so she should be able to do that. But yeah, oh, Casey didn't really do voice lines for Neo in the game. It's just weird to hit someone in a fighting game and they don't make noise. But like, that's hardly like a role. That's hardly like a also, and she's taking over the music for her dad, so I don't even know if that would be possible. Like, I don't know if that's something that would be like manageable for her and her team. Yeah, she did efforts. That's what they're called. She did the efforts for Neo in the fighting game. Yeah. But that's where the episode ends. Neo just freaking came through, ran up in this freaking acre and made shit happen. I wonder if she's going to go to the Candyland acre, because I really, really, really want that. Like, that says literally, like, they have the cherry on top. She's the ice cream girl. So I would rather her be there than here. This looks like a wannabe Salem's Domain, God of Darkness domain nonsense. I really want them to go to the Candyland location. And even if they don't, even if Neo's plot is removed from Team RWBY and whatever they're doing, I would still want it to be there for Neo and whatever shenanigans she's going to get into. But I have a feeling that the paths are going to cross. Also, I just realized what would be crazy. I wonder how Neo would react if RWBY takes this identity shift. Like, if she takes this deal to change her identity. I wonder how Neo would respond if she comes across RWBY after RWBY has an identity, like, rework. Because it technically wouldn't be RWBY anymore. It would be like, she would just be like fighting someone that doesn't even, like, isn't even themselves anymore. And I wonder if that would affect her at all. Yeah, the new RWBY. Yeah. Newbie. Come on, that's a good one, right? The new RWBY, she'd be a newbie. Yeah. Like a noob. But long story short, guys, that is the ins and outs of it. That is Volume 9, Chapter 3. Very fun, exciting episode. I think the finale, like the ending bits, was really exciting because, like, now Neo's here. Jean is the only one unaccounted for. I'm wondering how long it's going to take before we get him, or like a reference of him or anything like that. There are 10 episodes this volume as well, so we have 7 episodes left to get a conclusive plot. This was also the longest episode. After the intro and outro is about 18 minutes, so 20-minute total, 18 minutes of actual, like, episode plot stuff going on. So yeah, we haven't seen Alex, we haven't seen Jean. There's no guarantee that Alex will have been here, given how long it's been since the last time this story was told. Also, Alex's name predates the color rule, which was established after the Great War, which was 80 years ago. So, or the end of the Great War, which was 80 years ago. So Alex could very well be like a freaking a senior citizen, or she could be dead, or she could be in a different form, or a different, like, she could just be somebody else entirely. But yeah, unsure about Alex, but, like, I don't know. I feel like we need Alex to get the full story here. And Jean is obviously going to be a crucial plot point the further we go on, with how he's feeling about everything that happened with Penny and what he chooses and what he decides to do for himself. It's just unclear whether or not he fell yet, because RWBY fell in the first episode. Neo's perspective of falling just happened now. So it would only make sense that Jean's perspective would be last unless they fall at different times based on the storyline. Or if they just choose not to show how Jean fell and rather see the results of him being here by himself and making his own choices and not really knowing what to do without anybody else here. He knows that other people fell, so at the very least, I would assume he'd want to find people before he does things for himself. But we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, he fell later, which is why I think either he's already here and we just don't get his perspective, or he hasn't fallen yet. But it just depends if they want to show us Jean falling, or they just want to build up his plot off stream or off screen, I should say. Yeah. I feel like Jean landed first. Yang did mention that when she landed, she was knocked out. So, like, even if she landed first, she wasn't doing anything, really. I just don't know if... It just depends. Like, just because you fell first doesn't necessarily mean you landed first, which makes sense. So, I think it would be completely fine for the plot if Jean landed first, and then he changed first, and now his new identity is going to blend in with the current plot that's going on. But yeah. The curious cat needs a curious hat. You know me too well. So, for the uninitiated, after every episode of RWBY and after every live stream discussion, we conclude with a good old page read out of the old Dr. Seuss book itself, The Cat in the Hat. I think we're on page 12 now. 12, 13. Yes, we are. Oh, shit. He's like doing parkour. Oh, my God. Look at this. He's like freaking dangling the fish on the freaking umbrella like an absolute magician. All right. Now, have no fear. Have no fear, said the cat. My tricks are not bad, said the cat in the hat. Why we can have lots of fun if you wish, with a game that I call Up, Up, Up with a fish. All right, well, this man's just running into this random woman's house, vandalizing, breaking and entering, causing trauma to this pet fish. It's going to be a long list of... that's going to be a long rap sheet for whenever this man gets arrested. All right, and for the opinionated, pointless poll of this week, I think I'm going to keep it... pretty simple. Let's see what we have to work with here. I have a few options. Yeah, so last week I did the poll question of what is your basic typical scheduled work shift, and I believe 40% were morning shifts. 26% was mixed, which was basically like a flexible shift based on like different work hours. Then it was afternoon, then it was overnight. So yeah. Let's see, what do I want to do here? I was going to do one that's not necessarily a poll. It could have been. The one I wanted to do was if you could have any meal as your death row last meal before you were executed, what would it be? And I was going to do like home cooked meals, Michelin star restaurant meal, like fast food meal, or make your own food. I think I was going to do that. That's also a little morbid. Like what last meal do you want before you die? Let's see. I was also thinking of, do you pour your milk before or after you pour the cereal? Which is like, I don't know if I want to know those people exist. Don't do it. After, obviously. It's the internet. You'd be surprised. Wasn't that a previous poll? I'm not entirely sure. I don't know if I've ever done that one. I have to look it up. I'll do the death row meal one. The death row one. I'll be like, okay, what meal would you want? You'd probably have to comment to be more specific. But other than that, I think that's what we'll do. What would your last meal be before you died? Sorry for the morbidity of that question, but basically it's like, hey, what food do you love so much that you would want to have it one last time? And that's the episode. That is the discussion, and we're just under 3 hours for this too, so that's actually really good. These discussions have been a lot shorter than previous volumes. I remember like volumes 5 and 6 used to be like 5-6 hours long, which is, I don't know how the hell I ever did that, but I feel like it's also because I'm doing clips now, which it's a lot easier to just get through sequences when you actually have like a moving visual representation versus like a static image, especially if there's like action going on, which is what we used to do during like the volume 4 and 5 days before I like actually put 2 and 2 together and was like, hey, maybe clips are the way to go. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really, really appreciate it. I hope you guys had fun. I hope it was informative. I want to give a big, big thank you to all of the people who gave super chats and who donated. And, you know, people who are even watching this VOD after the fact, for the people that can watch this on demand between last week and between this week and next week. Thank you. Thank you very much. I have a lot of fun doing these. It's great to theorize and speculate and have a little fun and shenanigans with you guys. And I'm just really happy to be able to be doing this again with another volume of RWBY. And I'm just interested to see where this whole plot's going to go. Like, every episode has been better than the last, and I really would love to see if they can kind of keep that momentum going. Because we're not even halfway through the volume, you know? Super chat check reminder. I think I went through most of them, actually. Hold on, give me a second. It actually doesn't. Hold on. Oh, I'm sorry. Tiny Bird Programmer, thank you for the super chat. Neo's forming the Organization 13 instead of Xehanort. It's Neo's. Well, she's forming the Organization 10 because there's only 10 of them. But yeah. But I hope you guys had fun. I hope you guys are looking forward to the next episode. Thank you again for the support. Thank you for hanging out. I really appreciate it. We'll be back same time next week for episode 4. And I think that's everything. So yeah, with all that said, enjoy the rest of your weekend. My reaction will be up this Saturday as they usually are. It's already up on Patreon if you guys have early access. But episode 4 this weekend and live stream discussion next Thursday. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy the rest of your week, your weekend. Enjoy my reaction if you guys get to check that out. And I will see you guys next week for episode 4. Hopefully we can make it through. Hopefully it's not too crazy, but we'll see what that's all about. But thank you guys so much for the support. Enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy your week. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.